All right. Everyone, please stand up. Join me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Happy Monday. We have a full agenda today.
We do.
Hope everyone had an opportunity to look at the minutes of Tuesday and Thursday. I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes of Tuesday, May 26, 2026 as written.
I'll move.
Second.
Thompson moved. McCurry seconded. Waiting for it to pop up on our computer. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, it passes 5-0. I know there's a lot of pages there. Thompson moved, McCurry seconded, passed 5-0. Okay, I'd entertain a motion to approve the minutes of Thursday, May 28, 2026 as written. Seconded. Barker moved. Avondroff seconded.
You're on May 28th.
Yes. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Passes 5-0. Okay, takes us to our 9:05 appointment. We're a few minutes early. Probably the only time today we will be early.
Just that goodbye.
Do you have everybody here, or are you expecting anybody else?
No.
Or whoever's in charge of this? Okay.
Then do you want me to kind of introduce why I invited you? Okay. So I had invited Ben Coltrane with Midwest Engineering to come speak to you guys a little bit today. Ben and Carl and myself and economic development from Osage County and some grant technical assistance from Kansas Infrastructure Hub have been meeting for about the past 6 or so months via Zoom or in person to talk about the kind of water needs to the north part of our county. There have been previous meetings with Public Coastal Water District 12. Didn't say that right. Okay. To talk about, there had been previous plans for a project when we were looking at doing some development on our north property, and it had kind of stalled. So we started meeting again to talk about the project. I know there's still the need to do some infrastructure, and especially with the water treatment plant out of Melbourne. So I invited Ben to come talk to you guys because he's got a really nice sort of outline of the project and the budget that we've been talking about, and I just wanted to make sure you guys are aware of kind of what that looks like, very high level overview. Does that sound good? Okay.
Thank you very much, Jenny. I'll come up here just to be close, if that works. Again, Ben Coltrane, Midwest Engineering Group. I think I was here a couple of years ago and then a few in between as part of the water study. I do not have a big fancy presentation for you today. This is just simply start a conversation on one that's been going on for more than 2 years. I've gotten to work with Carl quite a bit over those 2 years because this is an incident near and dear to his heart where if you don't have good quality water, you can immediately go into some health and safety conditions. And that's something that we want to avoid. You do have very nice access to water, and people are well taken care of here. But once you start comparing and putting side by side, taking care of small rural communities, the agriculture, the people who live out there, and I've always went to go see my grandparents over there in Neosho Falls. Growing up, got family all along the Neosho River. Lots of the stories I've heard, I've helped fill those cisterns with water off the back of the truck, and then when people got the rural water connected to them, they were super excited because for about 20 bucks a month, they could just turn the tap and they didn't have to do all that extreme work. So you've got a nice system that's built for that, but it's not built for taking care of all of the infrastructure and development and everything else side by side. And in many cases, when you start bringing that in, it starts hurting this other group of people. And we don't want to do that because a lot of my friends, family, everybody, they are part of those people, farmers along that way. And here you have a very unique opportunity where you can benefit both the residents of Coffee County, your communities, and support some infrastructure coming in. And for the state of Kansas, that's a pretty rare thing. I don't know all of the stuff. My brother's done water in Southeast Kansas for the last 30 years. He knows all of the stories, and I've just gained them over the last 3 or 4 years working with him. But you have a unique opportunity here. We've had lots of conversations, and that's just where I want to kind of start the conversation with you today, is because if you do want to do any economic development, it is dependent upon water. I'm sure you know of someone or have heard of someone, they can build $1 million house up on this beautiful hill and then realize water is 3 miles away, and how are they going to take care of their house? So our job, as we see it, is to help prevent those things from happening, to collect all of the information, put it together into this critical path, what's the best case scenario, and then lay it out so it doesn't become a burden for your local residents and everybody else. And for Midwest Engineering, even though we're a relatively young company, we have been able to do that. We just got bids in on the Chanute wastewater treatment plant, and it came in just a little bit above, which is incredible with the inflation, at $36 million. And we're able to build a facility that in other places in the state will take $60 million to do. So we're trying to bring that value in, but still get the exact same quality water, wastewater, basic resources, which again tie into our health. So that's what hopefully you got to see this piece in your document. Just tried to write that out for you a little bit if you got a chance to read through that. Wholesale 12 is at capacity. So a few years ago when we were in that drought, they ran for more than 2 weeks, 24 hours a day. And I'm sure you're aware now because you've had the water study, there are only 3 or 4 people who run that plant. And they provide water, it's about 10,000 square miles and 10,000 people that they supply. And I know because my mother-in-law is the very last meter halfway across Anderson County that this water reaches. So it's a huge regional effort, but they are at max capacity. Now, you're not going to hear about this 95% of the time. It only happens when we get into a drought situation or an extreme weather situation. It happened a year and a half ago when we had that hard freeze. They were running 24 hours a day. It's in those extreme weather events that this happened, and they cannot produce enough. They will actually rotate the water around to each of the storage tanks to make sure that everybody has water. And they've done a fabulous job of handling that for the last 40 years. But that plant was built to meet the needs of the existing communities and the rural water people. It was not built to handle economic development or anything. So that's where we put this rendition of a system in, where right now it's a 1.2, 1.3 million gallons a day. It's their max capacity. To not have that 24-hour situation, they really need a 3 million gallon a day system, just for what's currently here. And we've had lots of talks about the KSMC site. That would have needed its own 3 MGD plant. So we were thinking 2 trains side by side to handle any of those. That's gone away, but that's the same type of thing, is that if every dollar that would be spent there would be something that could have a long-lasting permanent effort, not they take care of the people, spend millions of dollars, but then all of a sudden something comes in, they have to trash and do something else. Our intention is to have a design that you can scale it up and have multiple trains. And the nice part is they have the water to be able to do it. We have a piece before the Kansas Water Office that has said, yeah, we can handle that amount of water. So that's what we've done. The point where we get stalled is that none of that has come through, none of the funding or an actual person in place or an actual company. So we are back to what can we do for wholesale 12 to make sure everybody has water if we go into drought again, if we have another hard freeze. And so that's this list of applications we've done. Typically, when we're dealing with rural residential, it's lenders of last resort. SRF will do 60% of the market rate. USDA will have a poverty cost if we can get to it. Very low interest rates. None of those have been available, and that's been part of my job, is just to keep going after those.
SRF, is that state revolving fund?
It's a state revolving fund through KDHE, absolutely. Yep. Kansas Water Office has a nice piece in there, but it's prioritized for communities under 2,000, and this does reach about 10,000 people, so that doesn't match up.
USDA doesn't have, I mean, they're not available right now, is that correct?
Yeah, right now, USDA had $10 million in loan and $2 million in grant for the entire state.
Oh, wow.
And this project is bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, there is some national pooling that we're hoping will come in, and we've heard a rumor that there are 17 other states that I'm sure you know what's happened with USDA in the past few years. We've hired 2 of their people because everyone has been cut. We'll try national pooling, but to do USDA, there are lots of requirements to do. We'll have to do an environmental. We need to know exactly what the scope is of this and where you're making the line and everything. So there's a lot of extra work that would have to go into that.
You said on here it says the district cannot take on a full loan. Does the district have any debt right now?
District has just a little bit of debt when they redid their water intake up there, but when rates were really good, they refinanced and they got a really nice deal on that. So they're sitting really good. But the private, so when we do the analysis and it's a huge spreadsheet, comes down to one number, it has been costing them about $4 or $5 to make 1,000 gallons of water, and they were only charging about $4.50 for it. So they stepped up rates a little bit to make it about even. What it costs them to make water is what they sell water for. If they have to build a 3 MGD plant on their own, that would increase the cost of making 1,000 gallons of water to $11. It would double this. And typically what we see is if the wholesale has to double their rate, whatever rate change happens up there will be doubled or tripled out at the Rural Water District, which is a lot of them. Coffee 3, Osage 4, Anderson 4, they are all serving residents inside of Coffee County. So that's where we paused on it, is we don't want to just say it's necessary, it's important for health, you have to do it, but then let's just pass the cost on to the consumer. Because if we build this plant and we double the cost for making water, it will double or triple the cost for everybody else, and we're going to just pass it down the line. So not only do you have this rare opportunity where you can meet the needs of your existing residents, Ginny can actually go and have conversations with economic development and say, we have water available by the time you're able to get built here for you, and then you can put everything in place. So it's a pretty rare piece that's inside of there, and that's why this piece will all benefit, even if nothing comes in and she is unable to get somebody to come in and do it, this will still have a benefit because we will have a 3 MGD plant that serves Coffee County residents, and they will use that regardless of nothing else.
I'm curious, what kind of costs are we looking at, say, if roughly,
Yep.
to jump that from that
Excellent
1.2
question.
to the 3?
So I'm going to take you to the very back page. So this is how we handle our reports, and you guys got this in your water study, but I brought in the one sheet because it's pretty significant. So when we ran through it, if KMC was in place, they would need a 3 MGD treatment train. We'd probably expand the intake of this. I'm looking at this one that has the 3 pieces, it's the very last one. You would need a 16-inch line to come down to South Oviedo Junction, and then they would want their own storage tank. So to do everything to provide a development entity, we estimate that would probably come in around $60 million. Okay. When we talk to some of the partners that were part of the whole thing, they're like, "That's wonderful. We have done it. We think you're actually going to spend $100 million on it if we were your partner down there." So that's where we try and keep the cost down. $6 million that's a lot, and that's specifically infrastructure. So what we did is we said, you need it now. How can we scale that down for you? So what we did is we said, we want to start that 3 MGD train, but if we can't build the whole thing, if you turn back to this page, it only has one highlighted line in there. We would build the clarifier, the chemical feed building, new filters, and some site pumping. We would start the train that would enable them to make 3 MGD. You would also have an existing 1.2 MGD because we've got to make water the whole time we're constructing this. So at the end, you could make 4.2 MGD. If you ever decide to take this one offline, you'd still be okay. And if we did that, this number is a year or so old, and we all know what inflation is. So this was about 17.5. We think that we could get them started with a really decent approach for around 25 million.
Is this funding all going to be just done by Coffee County, or is OC Franklin, I think, doesn't go into line a little bit?
Yeah, they cover, they are in Osage County, cover quite a bit of that, lots of Coffee, some of Anderson, and some of Franklin. So you've got at least 4 counties that are involved inside of this.
There's 12 entities that make up Public Wholesale 12, cities and rural water districts.
But I guess what I'm getting at, we're gonna be, take the whole tag on the price of it, or is any of these other counties gonna help with that?
There's 2 parts to this. Normally, I just work with the entities, but as I've explained, for them to take that on is really, really difficult. To answer your question, it's kind of like the situation we had with my family's farm down there. When Grandpa passed away and Grandma had it and somebody needed to buy it, it came up to the whole family to take on. None of us could. I was overseas at the time. I was going through college. The only person who was available was my oldest brother, who's the owner of our company, who's like, I can do it. I will buy that. Honestly, I think you guys are in that similar situation where you do have other counties in there. You may be able to bring them on, and that's actually been a recommendation from some of our grant partners.
Yeah.
They would love to do that. I just don't know how much they are going to be able to bring into. It's a great conversation to start.
Yeah, and that's what I was just gonna mention, is that that's part of our ongoing meetings we've had with members of Public Wholesale 12, we've had Osage County right now. I have talked to Franklin and Anderson counties, they're happy to be at the table, and we've been working with Kansas Infrastructure Hub, which is a state technical assistance program, and we're, I believe, gonna, hopefully by this fall, try to have them facilitate like a regional meeting on this. So it might have, a couple of you at the table and then other counties as well. But I wanted to make sure you guys had this information from Ben, so you know kind of what we're talking about, what the cost is that we're looking at, and part of it too may be how quickly we want to move through the process. So if we're talking regionally, you know, it may slow things down a little bit, or we're looking at some different grants we may be able to go after for parts of this. So there may be like a federal economic development grant, for example, to maybe cover some of the design costs. Let's say $2 million, I'm just throwing it out there. There may be a grant that could cover like 80% of that, but then we may be looking regionally for matching funds or something like that. So that's why I wanted you guys just to kind of know what's going on.
So, two parts inside of that. One, normally we work with the entity. They take on the loan, and it's through the water purchase contracts that are set up. And so those contracts that's why a lot of them are set up for 40 years, is because they get a 40-year note from USDA. So if you have a contract, that is what will pay off. It's the collateral from your 4-year loan is the contract. The other part is, again, critical path. We've got this huge elephant to eat. How are we going to do it? So it's down to today, right now, the ask is for Virginia to be able to do her job and go to an entity and say, we have a great site for you. It has water. We have available infrastructure. Usually design, permitting takes a year. So if we can do the permitting and the design right now, which as she said, probably under $2 million, that would take care of it. This old estimate, that's the highlighted part, and that's honestly the ask today, is what would you consider contributing to that? This is a $1.3 million fee for us to design that entire plant, everything there, get it permitted, and that gets us a year down the road. And it also, because before, if you got all this grant and everything, everything would be like, let's do it fast, let's do it now. It doesn't matter. Money is not as important as time. And usually in that case, a lot of people get upset. A lot of people get hurt. And a lot of it, that's usually your Coffee County residents. Sorry, I'm just running for you. Coffee County comes in. This is step one. This will get you a year down the road. It will answer your questions. It will show you have a plan. Everything is in place. And if nothing ever happens with this, this will continue to benefit, because this is what Wholesale 12 needs to do to be able to provide water.
Now, I know Wholesale 12 serves Coffee County through Lebo, Waverly, and Roll 3, right?
Yep.
How many customers do they have between those entities compared to the rest of Wholesale 12? You got those figures off the top of your head, or I'm just curious.
Well, I think when I calculated that at the 10,000 residents, it affects, there's that many people living in the communities and the rural water districts in that area. But specifically for Coffee County, I didn't have that broken out.
And I know our economic development potential is probably greater up along the interstate, that corridor. I realize that, but I'm just curious how,
I don't have population.
percentage-wise, how we, I mean, we're being asked for half, and I'm just wondering, are we like a quarter or a third?
Well, what that does is it gives you the idea of who the entities are within Public Wholesale 12, and it gives you an idea of where they're located at and how many people. Now, the reason why Public Wholesale 12, we got that greater availability, but there's people who want water. Like Anderson Ford would take all the water they can make so they can increase the amount of money we can generate revenue off those contracts that they do every year. Franklin Forest, another one, this becomes regional, but when we was at the Kansas Rural Water Association conference, the big message that was delivered, whether it was KDHE or the Kansas Water Office, was we need to regionalize and incentivize regionalizing how we're going to distribute water off where we can make it. Now, we're lucky and fortunate enough that we have Elmer Lake up there that's got plenty of water. So we're not being pinched for anything as far as a water marketing contract. Just that, like I said, that's just to give you an idea of who the entities are.
And Carl, I found this piece that you had made a little while back. So Levo's got population 1,600, Waverly 1,300, Melbourne almost 800. So you look a little bit less than 4,000 in just those entities right there.
And what that is mailboxes. I picked that up off the, when I was looking for when we started doing all the stuff with chips, we needed to, we was talking at that time, also Osage County had materials also given to the commissioners here. That was way back in 24 sometime. And what that does is we was wanting to set the table what we have as far as the number of people are, because the reason I say post office is it's the mailing, they deliver it, and it seemed like a pretty logical way to use it, measure how many people we had out there.
On the state revolving fund, pre-application submitted 5/1/26. So what was it?
That was from Public Wholesale 12, is that correct?
That came from 12 itself?
Yeah, that was
Okay.
Public Wholesale 12. So my office, we haven't submitted any applications for anything.
So what was the, I'm just curious, what was the amount submitted for? I mean, do you have that number?
That's about $30 million.
Okay.
So what that would do is put that 3MGD train in place, and then it would start a little bit of the distribution. And that's something we haven't even gotten to, are the lines to get it out.
Right, so that would entail,
Just a little bit. So there's a 12-inch line that comes down from wholesale 12, and then it splits. You have a 10-inch line here and a 12-inch line over there. That 12-inch line is starting to get 4 or 5 leaks on it in a year. And anytime that line is out of service, then nobody else has water, and they just have to rely on their storage. And so that could be a starting place, again, critical path, 12-inch line.
So the 16-inch line, what's your thoughts on that? How far would it come?
So the intention of that was to come on a new path directly down and over to the south of the Beetle area to be able to serve whatever development was started there. And at the time when the CHIPS was coming through, we estimated they would need about 3 MGD just to serve theirs, and it would take a 16-inch line. Now, you can still benefit Osage 4 serves a lot of your Coffee County residents. Coffee 3 serves a lot of your Coffee County. They will still pull off. It's not a purely dedicated line. We didn't put anything in there just for the infrastructure. This was all to benefit everybody together.
the whole county.
It just came down to this part.
Right, but from there it would be spread out, and so that would entail the southern part of the county, is that correct?
We could take that in where we could, because the main one is just to get the main down to.
Right, and that's that 16-inch line.
Right.
So from there, then it could be split out and directed towards the,
Yes.
There's potential, the line sizes are a little too small to go all the way down if it was like if Burlington went offline.
Right.
And there's probably some connections you could do, but the line size
would
limit
inhibit that.
So unless you had a countywide that did that line size in consideration, and then
What would that line need to be instead of 16, 24, or?
well, that's the part we haven't gotten into.
Yeah.
So what we have been asked is, help out with Wholesale 12.
Sure.
We also help Coffee 2 and Anderson 4. So between those three, and in your water study, I was involved in all three of those reports. Those were the big parts of that report.
We didn't step it all the way down in this water study to where we would take it further south, because we also have the option that there's, through Coffee 2, we have the Emporia connection also to where we could get water off of that to where we could supplement and relieve different areas. And this is why it becomes more important to have a regionalized plan as we move forward.
And there's not a connection from Emporia to Coffee 2. There's about a mile of distance in between. Coffee 2 is two completely separate entities, one fed by Emporia, one fed. Now, if you wanted to, you got all the information, but I don't know that you have one thing that combines all of those together to connect the south path and the north path.
So we don't at this time.
And that's something, if you're interested, we can do. Of course, you have Saban, and he can help out with that, or if he wants us to help out with that. But I haven't seen something that connects them all together.
there is a possibility for that to occur.
Absolutely. Oh, yes, but that was far enough down the line. We didn't
Sure.
take
Yeah.
that into account at this point in
And
time.
that's something that it's been my goal from the beginning is, we've got areas southwest of Gridley that people want to build houses and can't build houses now. The city of Gridley and Rural Water District are working on a plan now to interconnect two existing lines that they have to help alleviate that issue. But, I mean, my hope, my goal, and maybe it's not obtainable, I'd like to see a big line go all the way south, now, Burlington being a part of that, however that can be
And
tied
Burlington
together.
absolutely has to be a part of it, because if you tie everything to one source, you're not
Yeah.
gonna have any.
Oh, yeah, and that's not my goal, but I just, long-term goal, in my mind, 50, 100 years down the road, we don't have the water rights in the Osho River for future development, it's not there. And we've got an opportunity now to get it out of the Maridazine. Maybe Emporia could help with that too. But I want to try to think about,
It's a
not just
comprehensive
put
approach, and we're
a
looking at
Band-Aid on it to try to do what our county's gonna need for way beyond when I'll be involved.
And that's why
my goal.
we went to wholesale 12 is because anyone with water knows the Osho River Basin is tight. It's going to be a fight if you want to increase
Yeah,
the rights
yeah.
at all.
That's
and so
why-
that was limited.
That's why
Kind
we
of
were
solid.
talking about it on the regional level. Jimmy's
Yeah.
spearheading it to the Kansas hub. But we have to start somewhere, and this is where we chose to start. And then the eventuality is that to have a true regional plan, true regional pipeline does go down. We talked about that the money just isn't there to snap our fingers
And
at
I
any,
know.
at any level right now. And right now, they keep telling us, be planning regional, because if the money ever breaks loose, we gotta be ready to go to act upon it.
Right.
So what do we need to do to get this ball rolling? Because water is the number one thing in everyone's life for growth, for
Everything,
sustainability. We gotta get it going.
Okay. That's where we kind of saw is sort of that, the first thing we could do was look at doing the design. That seems like the attainable cost we could start working towards, is getting something designed. And then we're working regionally, like you said, it's not just on Coffee County, it's a group project. And then we anticipate we could get those meetings, like I said, I'm hoping by this fall we could bring everybody to the table. But we want to do it the right way. And that's where, with Infrastructure Hub, I think their director has a background in corporate facilitation. She said she herself would facilitate a meeting for us. But the first step we saw is kind of everybody going to their own counties and explaining what the project is.
Have you got any feedback from other counties?
I know, like, Osage County, they see this as something that is crucial. I think they're dealing with some other internal things right now, that they haven't been able to kind of do what we're doing right now. But their economic development director, we've been working very closely and having regular meetings on this, so.
Sanitation guy over in Franklin County reached out to me and had lunch together so we could talk about water, because as they go over there, because part of this is we want to be able to sell some water too, to make more money for the public district, whether it's Coffee County, Anderson County, or Osage County. And over there, they're expanding. I mean, people are moving down the interstate, it's moving towards us. So this goes back to the regional approach, that we need to be putting steps in place to do this. And this is the first step, is get the design going, start the modular approach, which Vin's describing, because everything interrelates and everything will tie together by the end of it. We know where our limits are as far as how much water we can ask for now, with the Kansas Water Office, which is crucial, and then what we can ask as we move into the future, if we do get some economic development up there, we can, with their design of the modular plant, at some point in time, add another 3 MGD plant right beside it, and which we would basically, I want to say, just literally hook up together.
Oh, yeah.
And it's never quite that simple, but I mean,
Yeah, 'cause that's.
but what that is we do what we did with CHIPS, we know what we could do towards the future also.
Yeah.
But we have to start somewhere. And
I
today's world-
understand that, my wish would all be done at once, so that's not gonna happen. But I hate to see us, if it's something you could add to, then that's much more attractive, because
Yeah.
You know, we're not building something that needs replaced in 15 years.
That's how we started the conversation, because we knew wholesale 12 needed something, so we just took them down to Fredonia, wholesale 23. And my brother designed and built that plant. It's a 6-inch GD plant, and that's how they approached it when the Fall River flooded back in 2017, and they were completely wiped out and they didn't know what to do. So he went and did that. We took them down there showing this is what it would look like to do that. You can actually see. And the way we design it makes it easy for people in rural Kansas to operate. It's not this fancy thing you're calling somebody from Kansas City all the time and completely electronic. So that's how we started. And that's why we place so much emphasis on the reports, is we've had this report for over 2 years now. We just need to be able to get started on the design, as you said, on yours, on Southern Coffee County with that Coffee 2 report. Yeah, the Gridley line is an option, but we also have a second option coming back behind Burlington to get it if the Gridley line doesn't get put in place. And that's typically what happens with the report. It's right there, but you have to get a commitment to the funds to be able to do it, and that's where we're at. The only missing piece is we don't have anything that's connecting all of us.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but this is obviously an important issue, and we're gonna have to continue discussing it later. We're
Yeah.
short on
I
time
think
this
I
morning.
would suggest
and-
maybe we bring them back again and revisit and talk about, you know, like that, the design phase again. And I'm working with infrastructure hub, like I said, on some possible grant avenues that we could apply for. If we could find something with a matching grant, that would be perfect, and we could help, you know, instead of $2 million, maybe we're talking about 500,000 or, you know, something like that. So if you guys are okay with that, I'll keep working with this group, and then maybe we can come back to you with kind of a more structured next step.
Because we look at it as a multi-step, it's not one big one.
We
And we
just
gotta
need
just get the ball started.
You gotta pull the trigger on it.
Yeah,
We need to get it going.
You might be able to do a work session sometime
Yeah.
and just really discuss it.
Sure, yeah.
You said the study is laid on the shelf for 2 years and nothing's been done with it. I mean, we can't let dust grow in this. People need water.
Right.
I think we're kind of waiting a little bit. I know when I came in, we were working on the water study, so we have that now, and we can also use that.
And we wanted to start now because we know this is budget time, and if you do want to commit something to this, I don't want to miss it, and then you have to wait another year to get it back into your budget. So that's why I wanted to give you a specific number and a specific ask today to kind of start that. And
So-
if you want it as part of that.
So your ask, basically for budget purposes, is half of that amount?
Well, you have two options. This is the ask today, is for us to barely get started, less than 25 million, it would cost us about 1.3 million to design and permit that over the next year. So that's where we start. That only does one train at wholesale 12. If you say that's not enough, we need to talk about a regional effort that gets all the way down, that's this number, and that's this design number. So that design number goes up to 4.7 million. That's a huge ask, and I don't want to come in here today asking that number. But if that's what you want to do, then you can decide. I wanted to let you see, this is the scope. This is a very bare minimum to get started on design. This would be a plan to be able to bring something in.
Because you do bring it south, and what that does is it makes more opportunities for the airport also.
You get enough water rights out of Melbourne to do this?
We have the potential to do it. So
You haven't applied for them yet?
we have made the application, and it's sitting right there. We just need to move forward with it. As soon as we say yes, they have to start paying for it. And that's quite a bit of expense because it's not a water right, it's a water purchase agreement from the state out of the lake.
Water is a pretty important feature anymore. There'll be a lot of people that would be willing to take those rights if they're not used by someone else.
You have to get picked up by anybody and everybody and pay for the rights and not use it.
And the state has asked me, if you're not going to do this, we need to drop that application and make it open for someone else.
So I hate to see you lose that opportunity.
And that's what we keep discussing in pretty much every meeting that we have, is how do we balance, planning for growth, which we want in our county, but
Right.
also not on the backs of the water users, of the individual customers. I know I turn my shower on every morning, and that's where my water comes from. So I don't want to see anybody's water bills double or triple, and that's kind of how we're trying to operate on this.
And Kansas Water Office has been great to work with the entire time. They've been welcoming. We've had meetings with them just for ideas to make sure we're headed in the right direction. And they've met with us with all their staff, so they're fully aware of what we want to do. It's just they want to encourage that we keep the regional aspect in mind so that nobody gets hung out, everybody gets water.
I'd suggest maybe Jenny work with them and put together another time we can all get together.
Okay, I'm gonna do that.
Front burner.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll put it up at the top of my list.
Try to keep moving forward.
And maybe we could do that, like a work session after the meeting, that way that would give us time to,
Really.
Not have
dive
those
deeper.
people waiting on.
right.
Yeah.
Get with you guys and figure out how we can best be really productive
Okay.
the next time around.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Because everything we've worked on in the past, we can start to pull into this too.
Sure.
So, and then Ben and I have worked together the entire time.
All right, thank you very much.
Absolutely. Thanks.
It's an honor to be here, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ben.
Thanks for the information.
Somebody else to bring in on this, we do a work study, just on the finance side, might be Richard.
Yeah.
Should come up with some ideas.
Yeah.
So that's right.
Yeah.
So,
That'd be great.
Chamber of Commerce 2027 budget presentation.
Good, how are you?
I believe you, I'm just.
Whenever you're ready.
You ready for it?
Yeah.
Thank you for having us today. You all have your packet from the chamber in your stuff for the day.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. If you had a chance to look at it, do you have any questions for us? We kept our budget request the same. I included a list of things I thought were notable. Hopefully that was helpful. I have to compliment Coffee County and my board on collaboration, working with my board, working with Jenny, working with pretty much everybody has been wonderful, and we've been able to accomplish a lot more than if I was trying to do everything alone. I've been here a year now, and it's been wonderful, so still very happy to be here.
I did have one question as far as, with the budget sheet, the top
Yes.
one here. You have the county support number there, but what kind of support are you getting, like, from memberships and other funds?
Yeah, so.
Didn't see any of that listed.
Yeah, it's all included in the transfer year-end reserve spot. Or, no, it's not. Well, I mean, it's in there, but it's not the whole amount. There's not really a way on this sheet for me to split it out. But I do. Did I leave that one? I can look it up for you. I have it.
Because the way I was reading the form, and I realize not everything's there, but the way I was reading it, 100% of your support was coming from the county, and I know that's not true.
No. We're bringing in around 20,000 from membership per year at this point. Yeah. We are still estimating at this point what the rest of this year will bring, because we keep getting new members. So hopefully we're over that 20,000 mark by the end of the year.
How's your membership drives going? I mean, I assume you're working in the local
Yes.
areas
Yeah.
well.
We had about 50 members when I started last year in April, and we're up to 125
Good, good.
right now. We average at least a couple new members a month, but we've had months where we've had 7, 8, 9 new members all at once. And a lot of that comes from people seeing what we are helping people with and wanting in on that, which is my preferred way of selling a membership, is to show the value.
Well, it sure seems like you've done a good job of getting it out there in publicity and stuff. I sure
Thank
see
you.
it. See it on the internet a lot, so thank you.
Yeah,
Good job.
thank you.
Been really visible, I guess, to the public.
That's
Yeah.
perfect, yeah.
The funny story that I had, I went to introduce Cherie to my wife, and my wife was not sure if she had met her yet, because she was so used to seeing her. So I just thought it was humorous at the time. She's so visible, my wife was not sure if she had met her in person yet.
She actually was like, yeah, I've met her, and then I was like, no, we haven't met yet, but it's okay.
When you talk about membership drives, I really don't know. I mean,
It's been organic.
yeah, I don't think that there's had to be much of a drive, because the members that we're getting are coming because they're seeing the value.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, and I do go out and try to get to know all the business owners and businesses, regardless of whether they're interested in a membership at that time. So that's where the introductions come from.
I guess that's what I was after, was you actively go in and
Yes.
like in Waverly, I mean, there's a couple new businesses I know of.
Yes.
Whether they pull the trigger or not, at least you've made your presence known to them.
Yes, and we do offer ribbon cuttings to those as well, as kind of a welcome to the county. And
The amount of ribbon cuttings that we've had in the last
Yeah.
couple months has been overwhelming.
yeah, we had 7 ribbon cuttings in 8 weeks
Wow.
this spring, which was busy.
That's good.
Our advertising budget for this did go up a little, but it was a happy budget
That's a good thing.
change, yeah.
Since I marked that's where we really need the number right there for the county support. I mean, I was looking at this, you have the carryover
Okay.
and other stuff, but
Oh,
whatever that number is.
For next
what we
year?
need- That's what we need to know.
okay.
That's a request for next week.
Oh, that's just the request amount?
Yeah.
We kept it the same, 150,000. Which is what you gave us last year,
That's what,
so.
that's what you said.
Mhm. Yeah, no, not that number. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Did you get that?
Sure.
I think I filled it out the same way as last year, but if I need to fix something, just let me know.
Any other questions for Cherie? Okay, I guess we'll take it under advisement.
Okay.
Well, with Holly's here, and we've been talking, there's a situation with the cemetery, and Ryan was gonna bring it up, and I got a text from him, he's not gonna be making it. Can you just kind of expand a little bit to the board, and we can discuss that later, what you're looking at?
I met with Ryan a couple of years ago. Key West Cemetery needs some work. The drainage, like the little walkway, the little gutter walkway has filled up, and so therefore the water is going across onto the road as you go into the cemetery. Then we need some gravel. And I didn't know if the county would help with that, or.
From what I had talked with Ryan on this, Ryan said they've done it in the past, it's just a little bit of their equipment that they could use. a little bit of gravel. He said the gravel's not expensive other than the hauling of it, and we could square it up if we were in support of that.
Who's doing the mowing out there?
So I lost, Travis Fife was mowing out there.
Okay.
And he gave up mowing,
Right.
and I found, Dave, Lindo, and he did a very nice job, but he wasn't able to get out there until Saturday.
And the only reason I ask is because I had a couple calls on,
A complaint, yeah.
well, that the cemetery wasn't looking very, very good, and so I didn't know if you had someone that mowed it or.
So I got the complaint and I called him as soon as I got it. And he said, well, I haven't been able to,
Okay.
it's been too wet, and that was on a Saturday, and he was there Sunday morning, or Sunday around noon, and he mowed it, and it looks nice,
Okay.
so.
So this is something we can further discuss and.
Table Ryan.
Do we need to,
do it.
do we need to know, do we need to know anything else?
I don't think so, but she
Yeah.
took the shared with me, and Ryan knows about it, and Ryan says they've done it before, so.
Okay.
And
You said
I
we could
showed
talk
him
about it.
everything that needs
Okay.
to be done, so.
We'll
Pretty minimal.
talk about it later then.
Okay. Thank you.
Shirley.
Yeah.
Thank you very
All
much.
right.
Yes, thank you.
Go ahead and have Brittany come in and, to your 2027 budget request.
Good morning.
Morning.
How are you guys?
Good, how are you?
Good. Do you have a copy of my budget, or do I need to hand them out?
I don't think I do.
I have a few here, I think. I should have enough. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll keep it short and sweet and let you guys ask me questions. Last year, I was not able to come present to you guys, so I would like to give you the opportunity to ask any questions about what we do in our budget and things like that. This year, KDOT announced that they had to cut $2.2 million across the state, and unfortunately, our operating budget was one of them that took a cut. So I have reworked and tried my best to make do with what we're getting. I have asked for a slight increase. The last 2 years, I've asked for right around $275,000, and this year I am asking for $300,000. It has been incredibly difficult to find a happy medium the last few years. 2026 has not been great to my sleep. As everybody knows, staffing is always an issue, so I have been very, very up and down. So I'll let you look at that. You can ask me any questions. I also gave you a copy of future capital. This, again, is also hard to predict because we run our vehicles every day up and down the highway, and like I said, this year has not been great for us, and you just never know what's going to happen. So I'm doing my best to give you guys the best answer, but the world of transportation is ever-changing.
You provide a very necessary service.
Absolutely.
Utilized by a lot of people.
Yeah. When I turned my budget in, I did put a letter in there, but I provided a couple numbers. In 2026, we provided 17,623 trips for our residents.
We drove over 300,000 miles. So it is very, very necessary. Our community relies very heavily on us, and right now the demand is just continuing to grow. So it is important that our community has our services.
Was that in our packet?
Yeah.
Can we get a copy of that?
Did you not have a copy?
Just what she was saying about their miles they travel when they
When I turned my budget in, when I brought it in here, I put a letter in there. I'm sorry, I didn't bring copies of that for you guys, but it is in there.
Okay, I'll get it.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. I have a couple other numbers that I didn't include in the letter. I don't know how much you all know what we truly do and how we service our community, but we are general public transportation, so we service a little bit of everybody. And I pulled these numbers for my fiscal year for 2025. We served just under 4,800 elderly clients. We had 2,800 disabled. Anybody that is considered disabled use some sort of mobility device, a wheelchair, a walker, a cane, somebody with oxygen, anybody with any need that's not just ambulatory is considered disabled in our book. And then we did right at 10,000 general public. So that includes everyone from children to all ages. So we see a little bit of everything.
Do you charge a fee for the general?
We have a fee for everybody. I did not bring a copy of our fare sheet. We are based on mileage. So anybody who lives in Burlington that is a resident of Coffee County, depending on if you qualify for a half fare, so if you are over the age of 60, disabled or low income, you qualify for a half fare. So it's anywhere from $4 to $2, depending on where you fall in that. And then we just have service levels. So depending on where you're going is what your charge is. So anybody within the county, it's $8 or $4, and it just continues to go up. So I do feel like we're very, very affordable.
I see quite often transportation buses in Emporia with people going to like rehab or to the doctor. What would that generally cost someone?
So right now I have, Emporia seems to be our hotspot right now.
Right.
I have multiple dialysis clients, and we have some rehab as well. And we go to the cancer center there quite often as well. Most of my clients who are doing that right now are considered low income or disabled or elderly. So they pay $9. That's round trip. So we take them up there. A dialysis client, we get them there for their chair time. We pick them up when they're done and we bring them back, and that's all for $9.
Worthy. I see some of those people now that do some rehab and they need help getting to this place.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Coffee County doing that.
Yeah.
Being able to do that. So some of the other counties I see that aren't able to do that.
Coffee County is very, very, very fortunate, because if you look at Anderson County, they have a very small service. Woodson County does not have any services. Greenwood. So we are very fortunate to be able to provide what we do to our community.
Brittany, how many employees do you have?
Right now, I have 13. I am still looking to fill another driver position. 14 is kind of our happy spot.
Are they full-time, they part-time?
All of my drivers are part-time. They work 4 days a week. That means they can work anywhere from 20 to 35 is usually about our high end.
Is that the cutoff, 35?
Occasionally they go a little bit over that.
Just because you need it?
Just because we need it.
Yeah.
We work for the general public, so the way our schedule works is our driver is scheduled to work on a Monday. We tell them what time they come in, but that doesn't mean that
It works out that
our
way.
schedule is going to change. They could maybe come in and only work for 3 hours, or they could come in and they could work for 10 hours. So that is the biggest downfall of being a driver. Is you never quite know what you're going to get into for the day.
Any other questions for Brittany?
Okay. Well, thank you guys. We appreciate your support. We definitely could not do what we do without you guys.
Thank you for the service.
Yeah, we appreciate what you do.
Thank you. It is a great service that we provide. Thank you.
All right, have a great day.
You too.
So the McGrath is supposed to be on for 10, is that right? Jenny,
I can hang out, like, if you guys need to take a break.
how long do you think you're gonna be?
I don't know, maybe about 10 minutes. But I can hang out as long as I need.
I'll take a 5-minute break and then try to get McGrath in there real quick.
I've got it sort of sitting idle in the background after I updated this computer.
How you, Angie?
Good, how are you? Tired, but I'm here.
You look tired.
All right, we're back from break, and we'll start with economic development. Jenny,
Okay.
you got.
Okay. I'll try to be quick. I know we were kind of moving behind with the other thing. But I just wanted to give you guys a quick update. With Center on Rural Innovation, we're part of their cohort this year. We're working on getting a tech economy assessment. So businesses dealing in technology. We've been meeting with them over the last few months, and I wanted to give you guys kind of a summary. We're just finishing up sort of the first phase where they did an assessment on Coffee County based on data that they've gathered. They've got like different data systems and data points that they brought in, and then as you can see under community partners, I want to find the thing. Our core group that we've been meeting at least once a month with myself, our Chamber of Commerce, Flint Hills Technical College, Library System, Coffee Health System, MT Networks. We've got Small Business Development Center out of Pittsburgh, since Stacia's been coming here once a month. They're a great support system. And Evergy has got someone from their innovation team has been joining us on meetings. So they did some interviews with us, some meetings, they put together that data into it, and they also did some interviews with some local employers, a banker, technical college, and the library. So what they kind of put together, and I just wanted you guys to see, this is a very summarized version of what we went through with the assessment. But some of the things that they came across, they wanted to point out. In Coffee County, you know, we've got, when you're looking at technology and tech industry, we've got a lot of good things. We're kind of in the middle where we're poised for growth. They say, like, there's some things we could do that could kind of move the needle greatly in growth. We're lacking. Workforce pathways are something we definitely need to improve upon. Kind of building up that pipeline of a skilled, talented workforce that are ready to go into the tech industry. Access to capital for startups is always a struggle. We're rural, a lot of times that's very difficult. One of the things that really surprised me with the assessment they said we need to improve upon is something that we know, but I didn't realize there was a connection, you know, here with housing. They pointed out several times housing infrastructure is clearly a barrier to recruiting new businesses in our community. If we don't have the housing, we're not going to have new startups. We're not going to have tech business growth for our current businesses that we have. So that was interesting, and that's something we'll continue to talk about as we're moving into the planning stage. So what things could we do to then move from, you know, we're doing okay to we're doing really well in this area. So that's what we're going to be working on this next month. I included a couple slides in there, kind of their model for how they do their assessments. A couple slides, again, more detailed on their findings. It's basically kind of what I just summarized for you guys. And then their team, so they are a national nonprofit organization, but they're going to have their team come here to Coffee County on June 24th and 25th. The 24th, I think Cherie and I are planning to do sort of a Coffee County tour with their group so they can lay eyes on some of our different businesses, our infrastructure, different things that we have. And then the 25th, we're going to have a full day planning meeting with our team that I told you is our core team. And we're also inviting some other local leadership to that meeting. So I was talking with Angie, and I think I mentioned this to Mark. I would like to somehow involve our commissioners with their team during that time, whether that's, Mark said you guys might be meeting to do check signings on that Thursday, if I could get their team in here to talk to you guys for 30 minutes, or if we could have a commissioner come to the meeting on the whatever that Thursday is, I think it's the 25th, for the planning meeting, I think would be helpful. So, that's kind of what I had on that.
Thursday be the 25th.
Okay, on the 25th.
We're actually scheduled to sign checks, I think, on the 29th.
Okay, so maybe it would be
Unless
just
we're
having, or having a commissioner come to the meeting, I think would be okay as well. I just wanted to make sure you guys were involved somehow, because that'll be very important when they're helping us do some planning. Thank you. And I can reach out otherwise, but I just want to let you guys know kind of where we're at on that one. I had a couple other things, but I don't know. Are you ready? Do you need
So,
okay. I can.
I'll be ready to go.
I can be done, or I can come back next week for another update if I need to.
Or if you want to, you want to stick around until afterwards?
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna stick around anyway because I was gonna hang out. Amy was gonna talk to you guys
Okay.
a little bit.
Yeah, so if you need more time, we can.
Okay. That was step
Yeah,
one.
come up. All right, thanks.
Yep.
Morning, Dr. McGrath. Can you hear me?
Good morning. Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
There goes. Need a little more volume. 100%.
Let me know.
No, I'm gonna switch audio to.
And for some reason, my headset isn't working today either, so it's gotta be something in the Zoom error.
You're working good now.
Think we're ready to go? Yeah. We can hear you.
Good, good. Well, thank you for the opportunity to speak with you. A couple things that we need to establish today. One is what kind of process are you looking for? And then kind of what your goals and outcomes are for the study. When we initially did the study, we actually came out and did department head meetings. Employees filled out position questionnaires. We established the comps with you folks, and then obviously then completed the study. When we're doing a market update, we do not have to be that involved. So that means we may or may not have department head meetings. That's kind of what I'm going to be asking you. Do you want them or not? And then the second, obviously I think we should still use the same comps that we did the first time around. There's one I would pull off. FEMA was on there, and I don't really think that that's a comp for you, so pull that one off. But we'll talk a little about the comps and then kind of what you're looking at. So what are you kind of envisioning as the type of process that you would like to engage in for a market update?
I don't know.
Dr. McGrath, so this is Todd Barker, I'm a commissioner from up around the legal area, and when I came into this process, the thing that's bothering me, is they wanted to go from the 21 step to the 15 step. Then, once we did that, it caused quite a bit of grief of getting people where they should be. And then the other part of it is, we have somebody come in, we don't have anything that's concrete on why somebody should make a jump, going down the scale, say from a 30 to a 40, other than, well, they're doing a good job. And I'd like to see something concrete on that, and where if it's not anniversary or the first of the year, we'll have to wait till the next fiscal year for that.
Okay. So, are you comfortable at this point in time with the 15 steps? Do you think there should be more steps? Do you think there should be less steps?
I don't know if I'm comfortable with the 15 steps or the 21, but this is what the employees were wanting. And then after it became apart, well, I'm not making as much as I should be, or trying to get that all figured out. And that's kind of why I asked for some help from your team with what's going on.
Okay, we can definitely take a look at that. And then when you're talking about a process to move, right now, if I understand it correctly, on January 1st, or sometime at the beginning of the year, the schedule goes up by some economic indicator. You guys have been using a combination of a CPI, the Midwest CPI, as well as a flat dollar amount. And then April, I moved my step. Is that process, do you think, okay? Is that working?
That is, but it's when somebody comes in and thinks they've got an employee in their department that needs to move up based upon merit and moving up,
Gotcha.
or job performance, and they're not coming into with us with anything that's written out that is subjective for us to look at. Well, they're just doing a good job. I would like to see a form of some sort to prove that out.
Gotcha.
As far as the 15 step, ma'am, I'm very comfortable with it. I think that's where we need to be as far as the 15 step. I was uncomfortable with the 21 step.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, when we jump the grades, you know, like, say, from a 35 to a 40 or something like that, I didn't know if there's a definition for some of those jobs within that range, or I think that's part of what Todd might have been alluding to, right? I mean, it seems like you might run out of steps, and then as you're getting nearing the end of those steps, then they jump up, try to find a way to get up to that grade. And I just didn't know if there was some kind of definition for that, or some reasoning, or I don't know. I'm trying to get that figured out in my mind.
Yeah, and there should be a process for that. When we originally did the study, we had employees complete position questionnaires, and from that we developed a point factor system. I don't think that system has been kept up since 2020. And typically what happens if somebody wants a reclassification, they say, okay, I've taken on more responsibilities. They should be completing a new position questionnaire. We should be evaluating it against the old one, and then seeing, you know, what has it changed significantly enough to warrant a pay grade change. So something we may want to consider, since I think back in 2020 we were still on paper position questionnaires. You know, something we may want to have employees complete again this time around, and so that way we keep that point factor system up. So like I said, so we take a look at the points and say, yeah, it's enough to move it to the next pay grade, or no, you took on some more responsibilities and you got more points, but it wasn't enough to flip you into the next pay range. And we can keep that up and do that for you. I have some clients that, you know, we maintain the schedule, and then when they have anybody that, in fact, I have a client right now, they're coming up to budget time, and so they're having position reviews, and so they've set me 5 positions that they want me to review and see whether or not the department's suggestion that they move to a new pay grade is warranted enough so that they can put that in their budget process. That's something that they do on every year according to budget. So I'd have to check the files to see whether or not we still have the original point factor system. And again, that's only one tool, because in addition to that, we're also going to look at whether any significant market changes by taking on those additional responsibilities. We have to look at, internal equity and compression. If I move that person up a pay grade, now does that cause some problems with, the folks that are aligned with that position? But there should be a process in place. You're exactly right. It's not just because I think Susie deserves, to go to pay grade 40.
I agree with, I think that's Todd's major concern, is that want to see a substantial reason as to why we need to make a change. In my mind, it has to be substantial amount of responsibility or change of their job description to justify that.
Yeah.
I've been an advocate for looking out for employees. I feel they're the most valuable asset we have, but we've got to treat our taxpayers right too.
Yep, exactly. And as I tell folks, you're in the business to provide a service, and the way those services are provided are through the talents of your employees. So you're right, they're very integral in making sure that you serve your constituents. Yet at the same time, we can't do it just because we think it's a good idea.
Right.
Right.
Okay. Do you want to have department directors involved this time around? Do you want to have? I know I am going to be meeting with them on the 15th at the department head meeting, just to kind of talk about the process and what we're doing, and hear from them if they have any other issues or concerns. I think that's sufficient. But if you feel that, no, I need to meet with each one independently, that's your call, and we can definitely do what you think is right.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I think what you were saying, if you were meeting with them once, that would be enough. You shouldn't have to have independent meetings with them.
Sure.
I wanted to backtrack just real quick. I mean, you're talking about the point system. I'm relatively new to all this, but I didn't see anything about a point system.
I didn't either.
And if we do have a point system, who keeps that up?
Well, it can be done either way. It can be done by you, and we would have trained you on that. I think nobody asked for it, so that's why I said I don't think it has been kept up. Because we do train the municipality if they want it to keep it up, and then like I said, I do have clients that as positions change, they send it to me, and then I do it and make a recommendation back to you, and then you determine whether or not that recommendation is going to be implemented or not. So I'm going to have to check, because Lisa was the primary consultant back in 2020. She had the audacity to do something like retire. So I only have her on a very limited basis, and I realized today as I was getting ready for and looking at all the documents that she didn't send the point factor system to me, so I have to make sure she has it. And if she doesn't have it, then I would probably be at a department head meeting indicating that employees are going to need to complete the questionnaire again, and we can start fresh with that system. That system now is done, and I apologize, my dog has decided to join the conversation. That is now done online. You used to be a hard copy, and then you sold it out, and it had to be PDF'd and all that kind of fun stuff, and now we've gone technical, and it gets sent to the employee's email. It's like a satisfaction survey. They answer question yes, and then it goes to the next, drop down some more questions. If they say no, it goes to the next one. It evaluates the job into 13 different competencies, and then assigns a point value to each one of those competencies. And then we look at the total and say, okay, positions that have this group of numbers potentially should be within the same pay grade. But that's only one factor. The second thing is then we're going to look at market and say, hey, yes, these positions have the same points, But, you know, the market says one should be in a pay grade 30 and one should be in a pay grade 40. So it's a good way for exactly what you're talking about. Once you have a benchmark of where these positions lie, it really is helpful in showing whether or not there's been any significant or substantial changes to those positions to warrant any type of pay grade change. So I'll need to get back to David on whether or not we have that. And, you know, if we have it, it shouldn't be that difficult to update it. I can use the job descriptions to do that versus having employees do it. But if we don't have it anymore, then we'll have to redo it. But it's a good tool for your toolbox. Okay. And we're okay with using the same comps as last time?
I'm sorry, say that
Same
again.
comps.
Oh, yes.
Is it okay if we use the same comps?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Okay. The other thing I mentioned too is that we now also have a subscription service which we started as of January of this year. It's called ERI, it's the Economic Research Institute, and they gather salary and wages for the public and the private sector throughout the entire country. Well, actually, they do it for the world, but I don't care about the world. And so we are starting to use that as a supplement for data. It's not our sole purpose for data, but things like on the last study we had like the coffee health system or you know, a school district. Sometimes those folks aren't very forthcoming with their salary data. We can now run a report that says, okay, look at this job title in both the public and the private sector. It's not going to tell me that XYZ pays this much, but it's going to say the average wage for this position within the geographical area is this. And so we can use that to compare some of the positions. Probably you're having some difficulty maybe in some of your, to the private sector, with some of your, you know, custodians and equipment operators, you know, the rub might be against, you know, private entities versus other municipalities. Do you feel that the private sector is causing some angst in your recruitment?
In some departments, yes.
There's competition, yeah.
Yeah. And obviously not every department. I mean, your sheriff's deputy's not going to, you know, be a problem, but your equipment operators, your administrative assistants, those types of positions have some public sector push to it. Okay. All right, we will gather some private sector data then. If I could type. What other questions do you have regarding the process, what you want done, anything that you're looking for to make sure? We are going to start collecting the market data before we meet with the department directors on the 15th because of your timeline. We're going to put that together this week, and I'm going to send it off to my data consultant to start working on right away. But are there any other issues, concerns, positions that might be problematic? We're not going to talk about people because we're here comp studies to talk about the positions. But other issues and concerns that you have?
We had some department heads, they revised some job descriptions, and I think when we reviewed the job descriptions, we were pretty much okay with it, I think. But with the review of those job descriptions, they had pay grade jumps, and that, I think that's what we were, on some of them we were concerned about. So I assume we'll give that to you and you can review it and along with everything else. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, I can definitely, if we have the point factor system, then what I can do is go through those job descriptions and look at the point factors and see if anything has changed. The other way too is if you don't want to have employees fill out a position questionnaire, then I can just do that off of the job descriptions. I've done that for a couple of clients where we've done it that way. It's a little bit more difficult, but at least, if you don't want employees to go through that process. So think about whether or not you do want employees, and then when I let you know that, yes, I do have it, and we can just update it, or no, we don't have it, we have to start all over again. You could decide whether or not you want me to do it through the job descriptions, or do you want to do it through the position questionnaires. Now, with the position questionnaires, once the employee completes it, it goes to a supervisor for review. The supervisor cannot change any of the employee's answers, but they can say, no, a master's degree is not needed for an administrative assistant. They can make those types of changes. Even with with the review by the director, I'm always still looking at how does that change, how is that different from what they said in the job description. Plus, from what I know about positions, I can sometimes determine whether or not a person has overstated their position, or maybe understated their position. But usually we can, after doing this for 26 years, I can pretty much figure that out for the most part. And then once I have any updated changes, I'm assuming then that I'm going to meet with, send that information and then meet with the three of you to go over what those changes should or shouldn't be, correct?
5 of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're talking about the commission, 5 of us.
Three's fine.
Oh, yeah.
He's not a commissioner.
Okay, no problem.
Just kidding, but it's true.
Wait, you started asking if you wanted to.
Dr. McGrath, this is Wade Bowie.
Yep.
The 5 members of the commission that are sitting here today were not, they weren't installed at the time the original study was completed. So to let them know a little bit about your background and experience, that I think that's good for this board as well as the public and anybody sitting in here, so they know who you are, what you do, and why you're qualified to do this
Sure.
market update.
And I appreciate that, because I apologize after the study was, 5 or 6 years ago. I can't say that I remember everybody that was or wasn't around at the time. But anyways, I am Dr. Victoria McGrath. I'm CEO of McGrath Human Resources Group. We are a group that specializes in public sector human resource studies. We predominantly do compensation studies from the county level on down. We have been in business as of May 1st of this year for 26 years, so this is not our first compensation study. We currently have a little bit over 700 clients in 42 different states, and we have worked a lot in your state. In fact, the consultant who was the project manager back in 2020 lives in Kansas, and so that's why one of the reasons why she was the project manager for that. So we are familiar with what your state, the trends and nuances within your state. We develop all kinds of compensation systems. We develop step systems. We develop merit-based range systems. I'm working with a very large county right now in Arkansas where we're doing job family systems. And so we try to tailor our compensation systems to the needs of the organization. So if you look at anybody else, it may or may not be a step system, it depends. What we did in the original study was, as I started saying before, we came out there, we met with department directors and interviewed them about their positions. Sometimes job titles can be a little bit misleading. From there, we developed a list of comparable data, comparables where we collected salary data for them. We still do that. We do not complete a survey. What we do is we ask the municipalities just to send us their data. Send us your salary schedules, send us what people are currently making, and then we align those positions to your positions. It takes just a little bit longer to do that, but then we're also we're the ones that are making the judgment as to whether or not this position does or does not align with your position. And then from there, we do, once we get the data analysis, we meet with the group and say, okay, here's where you are within the market, what do you want me to do with it? And the original study was, okay, what kind of system do you want us to develop? And that's how the 15-step system came into place. And there was a recommendation for salary ranges for the department heads and elected department officials. So we also had recommended a pay range for those folks as well. And then, of course, we provided a report, and I remember coming out there with Lisa to do the presentation. When we do a market update, it's not as extensive. Which is why I asked, did you want department head meetings? Again, most times we don't have them, or if we have them, it's with just a few departments that might have experienced some significant changes or reorganizations or having some issues within their department. We still will go out and get the market data, and in this time what we'll do is we'll set up your salary schedule and say, okay, here's where you start and here's where the average market minimum starts, here's where the average market point is, and has your system kept up with what the external market is, and then we'll make any changes either to the pay grades themselves. You know, I'm just looking at your schedule, we might do something where we chop off steps 1 and 2 and add steps 16 and 17, that's an option. Sometimes we may change the percentage between the ranges, and every now and then we'll have to say, oh, no, this position wasn't a 30, and based upon the market, it's going to need to go to a 40. Obviously, I don't know what those recommendations are going to be yet without seeing what that data looks like, and then obviously we present that information for you to either accept or not. And in this case, I think we will also reattach the rules or the policy guidelines that go along with that salary schedule so that you have those going forward as well. Hopefully that was helpful.
I believe that describes it very well.
Yeah.
So this isn't my first rodeo, which is why I said, you know, when I read position questionnaires and things of that nature, most of the time I can figure out whether or not a person is understating or overstating. Sometimes people forget things. I mean, it's hard to write about what you do. But I think everybody needs to keep in mind when we do a compensation market update, we're looking at the positions. We're not evaluating or looking at people. So, you know, I'm going to look and see, does this administrative assistant need to be in this pay grade, not whether or not Susie's doing a good job or not doing a good job. That's not usually part of, you know, the process. So I think that just needs to be clear to employees that we're not here to evaluate them. Okay.
So, do we need to do anything else at this point?
I don't think so. I'll get my stuff started together, and we'll start collecting the market data, and definitely be keeping Wade involved as I go through the process. I will tell everybody that we do kind of fall off the face of the earth a little bit because either you're going to be filling out position questionnaires, and I will get back to you on that, but during that time, we're collecting the data, and so that goes off to another consultant who collects all that data before it gets back to me. And, so, and then I will also be keeping you involved because sometimes we're finding that some of your comps are not playing nice in the same inbox anymore. And the only way we can get the information is to do open records requests. And so I will definitely say, okay, do you want to take the time to do an open records request, or do we just not get the data from them and use up other data? But I'll be keeping Wade up to date on that as we go through, and then he can let you guys know. So, other than that, if I have any questions, I'll let you know. And if you have any questions, let Wade know, and he'll get them to me.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
It's
been very
All right.
informative.
Great, guys. I'll talk to you later.
Thank you. Okay.
Just so you're aware, Dr. McGrath had requested job descriptions from all departments, which I've been accumulating. An email went out, and department heads have been providing that information. The salary schedule, and then where people are within the system, so that she can accurately do whatever it is she does on her end. So that's the information she's referencing, and hopefully she has what she needs or is getting what she needs.
Okay. Very good. Anything else on that subject? If not, we will move on to our 10:30 Planning and Zoning Administrator, Heidi Harris.
Morning, Commissioners.
Good morning, Heidi.
So I brought two agenda items for you today. The first one I'd like to talk about would be what the Coffee County Planning Board had done at their May 20th meeting. So they've been having discussions about changing their bylaws, and this is the first one. They might come back later and ask to change the time. I asked them not to change it yet due to working people. So they may ask for a 6 o'clock, or I might just have it kind of a little more like when they hold their special meetings, make it for 6. Because they're wanting to try to get through the comp plan faster, so 6 is a better time. But for the general public, when you're having a hearing, 7 is usually better because a lot of people work till 5. So we kind of had that discussion. But that night, they went ahead and decided they wanted to talk about the changing of the membership in regards to how it falls for their membership. So on it before, it said that it was from per calendar year. That change is in section 2 under membership. So members are appointed by you guys at the first regular meeting in May of each year. Disqualifications in section 3. So it'd be the third paragraph talking about absences. The one thing we wanted to do was add running from May 1st to April 30th because they just had it from calendar year before. And their thing was if you guys had appointed a new person in May, from May to December, that's like 7 meetings, right? So they can miss technically 4 of those and still be a member. And then the next year, if they only stay till April, they can miss all 4 of those and still be a member. So they're wanting to try to make sure everybody's there for quorum purposes, for talking about the comp plan and other important documents, to make sure there's all that input. So their first one was to do it from May to May. I kind of had a discussion later on with them. They had just went and said that, but I think it should go from May 1st to April 30th, because that would be the time frame that you would appoint them. It would be from May 1st to April 30th. So that's what my recommendation would be. So I prepared a motion in regards to that, and then I prepared the bylaws for that change. So that would be what they're asking you guys to do today, would be to approve that change, so we can update that piece of their bylaws.
When they were visiting about that, it makes sense, because you could run so far,
Yep.
somebody could be absent, you're starting the calendar year, and then that person comes on late in the year. It just makes sense to do it in accordance with that cycle of it being.
And the other piece was too, that it had to be justifiable reasons too, so like, we have in the past had members that, no call, no show, that's obviously unjustifiable, right? But if they miss several meetings due to illnesses or stuff like that, I mean, those are things that I would catalog but not bring out for the masses to see, obviously, because that's private. So that was the only thing that I did to bring up was, I mean, there are going to be justifiable reasons that they may miss 5 in a year due to family circumstances or whatever. So, but we do like to have, that, have them show up every time.
So Wade's reviewed these? All right.
On the paper, Heidi, just reading through this, everything's a run-on in here on our tablets.
Oh.
Is that what the actual form looks like, or, okay?
Here's what it actually looks like. It looks good on
Okay.
on
Yeah, it looks like this.
I was like, whoa.
It looks like this.
One big word.
Yeah.
No, it's,
I noticed that last night.
it is very organized and,
Okay.
That's fine.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
When I was looking at it last night, it was the same way.
no, it's not run on, I promise you that. Promise you not run on.
Okay, so you're wanting a motion then on this?
I did provide a sample motion, should
Okay.
be on your tablet.
Okay, I would recommend a motion based upon the recommendation of the county zoning and subdivision administrator And the county attorney has to form to adopt the bylaws of the Coffee County Planning Board as approved by the County Planning Board on May 20, 2026.
So moved. Second.
Appigroff moved, Curry seconded.
Should we look at the July one?
Yeah, July.
I mentioned, and it's something that is a decision for the board, but on page, I guess on our page, item number 7 in Article 1, submit to the governing body on or before the first Monday in July, the proposed budget.
That's in my budget that I provide you. So it is submitted before July 1. It's submitted in the 15th or whenever Angie wants them. All their stuff in my planning and zoning budget. They don't have a separate one. So we do submit that requirement. That would be if they had a separate one. That was back in the 90s when the boards back then had separate budgets versus the departments that they were being staffed by the planning and zoning people. So that was why that was put in there. We can take it out if you want, or we can say it's part of my budget. But then if you do make that change and then it doesn't become the planning and zoning budget anymore, you'll have to revise that. I'm up for discussion on that, but that's why that was in there.
Do you think it should be in the same timeline as everybody else who's presenting budgets, either by June 1st or by June 15th? If you do have something that's significant and then it hits at July, that's the only reason why I'm mentioning that.
Yeah, we could do that. I'm up for changing it. I don't have a problem with that.
Should be with all the other bids.
Yeah.
So,
Somebody may want to, might set a precedent since my someone wanted an extension in time. We end up with a quagmire there.
yeah, we can. So, you want it done by June 15th of the calendar year? Would that be a good?
Whatever standard.
Angie, isn't it usually June 15th of the
Around there, yeah, depending, whatever.
So we could do before June 15th?
on or before June?
On or before
Yeah.
June 15th?
That might
So you need to make a change to the motion.
Yeah, it usually says. So I would propose you put it, move to adopt the revised bylaws, because you made the revision today. Would that cover their revision today, Ray? Do they need to specifically write out that they want to change the budget?
Let's say with a revision to, what is it, Article 1, Section 6, Paragraph 7, if I'm reading this right on. Is that right? I need to see a printed copy, but I think that's right.
Article 1.
Section 6.
Article 1, Section 6, Paragraph 7. That is to submit to the governing body on or before June 15. Is that what we're saying?
Yes.
June 15 each year.
Of each year.
In order to put that in that motion also, the June 15.
Yes.
Spell it out and be a record of it in the motion.
Do you want to put same paragraph? Each year? And I could just do that. I'm sorry, or do you want to put that way? No, I think that's the same. Sorry. Let's check that out.
Okay, so we have a motion on the table, so we need to amend that then, or start over?
So we need to rescind it and start over.
You're in discussion, so you're,
Huh?
Can we just rescind that motion we're in discussion with, or
Just withdraw the motion.
I'll move to withdraw my motion. I'll second that.
okay. Okay, so we,
I gotta redo this.
okay, so is that all we need to, do we need to make any other changes before we go with the second motion? Just check. Okay, so we revised that motion, so now it would, I would entertain a motion based upon the recommendation of the county zoning and subdivision administrator. I'll make sure I'm reading the right one here. Okay. Oh.
He's reading the new motion.
I'm reading a new
Oh, I'm
motion.
sorry.
I mean, you guys withdrew that motion, so I got a new motion.
New amended motion.
Yeah. Can I start over again? Move, entertain a motion based upon recommendation of the county zoning and subdivision administrator and the county attorney as to form to adopt the bylaws of the Coffee County Planning Board as approved by the County Planning Board on May 20, 2026, with revisions to Article 1, Section 6, Paragraph 7, to submit to the governing body on or before June 15 each year a proposed budget for the ensuing year, for the ensuing year to carry out the board's planning program.
So
Under KSA 12-746, sorry. I'll move again for that one. Okay.
And I'll second.
So Avendroth made motion, McCurry second. And any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Passes 5-0. Okay.
I'll make that,
That word ensuring, needs to take the R out.
I'll make that change on Article 1, Section 6, Paragraph 7, and bring it back.
Ensuing.
There we go. I'll put it with the copy.
Okay, there's number 1.
Okay,
Yes.
ready for topic number 2?
Yep, topic number 2.
Okay, so, back when this all was done, my job description was a joint job description with planning and zoning and road and bridge. And then I moved up here in 2022, it didn't get revised then, so I'm asking for it to get revised now with the changes that I showed you from the email. That's what I do now, and I don't do any road and bridge work, I haven't since 2022. I'm not asking for a pay increase today, I'm just asking for it to be updated for what I actually do. So if you have questions on what I put in it, I'm willing to discuss those.
Heidi sent this to me, somewhere along the way when the position was transferred from road and bridge under the county engineer to sort of a standalone. This did not get updated. My recommendation would be to approve it because it falls in line with what actually occurs, and then this updated version will be sent to McGrath to then go through the point factoring system. Otherwise, what's in the original version is not technically in line with even who Heidi's department head is, who she reports to.
Because originally you were with Road and Bridge and then stepped into that.
And then I went to economic development, and then 2023, you guys moved me under you guys. Well, I guess the board at the time, sorry, moved me into the county commissioners, so. And then I'd like to update the job description, because they were having problems with comparables, for the job description at that time, so.
It's not correct.
So for example, one of the things in the existing job description provides backup support for other administrative support staff for road and bridge, landfill department, and then there's several other items in there that are similar that position has not done before.
4 years.
Correct.
Anybody have any other questions?
I had one, I needed to remove on here, I just found it.
Okay. Which page
It's
are you on?
I don't know, it's underneath the motion, it's page 2.
Okay.
Stays up to date on local, state, and federal regulations. When you scratch it out, changes concerning environmental issues, I think you want to keep up on that, and what you're doing with, we dealt with the peacocks the other day, and lots of other issues that's going on. I just think that ought to be something, I'm not telling you to do it, because you're gonna do it on your own, but I think that ought to be a part in there. Just leave that.
I just wasn't sure, I mean, so that's why I was linked to this.
Because I think you have to deal with that with housing, development, and things like that, and you need to know what's going on current trends with environmental issues.
Yeah, I can put that back in.
That was that top bullet point, top of page 2.
Yes. Yeah, I think so too.
So Heidi, on the top of page 3 on what we have, job qualifications, knowledge, skills, and abilities, knowledge of what's stricken in the red, sanitation and health codes and environmental regulations. Probably want to leave that in as well.
I think they go hand in hand with each other.
Okay. I mean, I don't really look into them. I rely on the other party to do it.
You do, but you still have the knowledge of it.
Okay, yeah, I can put that back in. And then I got rid of ordinances. And this is the line after that. You see that? We don't do ordinances.
Right.
Okay.
That's why that got stricken.
Any other comments? Would you like to make those changes and bring it back before we make the motion?
Do they need to be, will this part need to be sent also in draft, or?
I think once the changes are made, then that adopted version, if you agree and sign off on it, that would be sent to the rep.
Would it be sent this week, or would we have another meeting to adopt this? Something you can go through?
I can go change in like 2 minutes.
Okay.
It's taking 2 minutes to make a couple of changes and I can bring it right back.
Change it and bring it back and we'll,
And I can wait till wherever you want to put me in at the agenda.
okay, let's do that.
Okay, then I will go make those and
All right.
come back.
Thank you.
Very good.
I'll bring back the bylaw change too, if that's okay.
Todd, that was a good catch.
Great.
Great.
Okay.
Todd, that
Thank
was a
you.
good catch, Todd. That was a good catch on that. I don't-
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Andy. Let's move on. Next agenda item, we have Housing Authority Director Lindsay Stuckey, 2027 budget request.
How you doing?
Hey, how are you?
Good.
This is my first time doing this, so I don't know really how this goes, so.
You're gonna survive. You'll be okay.
Yeah, copy for Angie also.
I can get you one.
Yeah.
I can send, that's fine. Like, I have one here, but I'll look it over and then I can hand it to you. Okay, so, I'm here today to present my budget for you guys. Not much really has changed, except for there is, it's down, yeah. I am requesting $260,000 down from my $260,000 down from my $285,000 from last year. That big portion would be for my triplex in Leroy that is paid off. That was about $30,000 that we used last year to pay off. So that's where a big portion of that budget has come from. I do still have my personnel service in there for an admin, as well as my rent for my building. I'm open to questions.
Because say we, Todd and myself, we met with, what was that, about a year, seems like a year,
Oh my
about a
gosh.
week and a half ago.
Yeah, yeah. What was it, 15?
We met with Lindsay and two members of her board and just discussed various things. And, we did find out, I mean, her budget was gonna be less, but, I mean, just some of the things from that meeting and you guys, I mean, you've built houses in the past, but you said that the board's gonna take a different, slightly different direction now and not build single-family homes.
Yep.
And we talked about, you know, the staying downtown versus moving to the courthouse and some things like that, and some the pros and cons of all that. And with Lindsay being on board now and her board is very confident about her now, and just long story short, I think the general feeling, and correct me if I'm wrong, Todd, but maybe give another year to see how everything goes there, or did you have any other thoughts?
Well, I was thinking that we needed to come back to see what these guys felt on it, so I'm still thinking that needs to be here personally. I know that her and her board are going to be down there, but my feelings were they should be up here.
I will say myself, my board, and a lot of community members all would agree that I should stay down there. I did ask just to be given a chance. Like, I feel like Todd, I don't want to speak for you, but I feel like I gave you more knowledge than you've had in a long time.
No, I told you that
Yeah.
at that meeting that you
So-
had, but I'm still in this situation.
No, oh, I understand completely. I mean, I did cut a big chunk off my budget, and that still is keeping me downtown and me having an admin.
In what ways, and of course I wasn't in on those meetings, and in what ways do you feel you can serve the public better there than you can having an office here in the courthouse?
So, from a handicap parking spot to inside my office is 8 steps. With my USDA grant, I have to have compliances for a handicap accessible area, and a door that I can shut, so I can have that conversation with my applicants. A lot of my applicants do like to be anonymous. I think coming to the courthouse puts a little bit more of an eye on them coming into the office. It's just been there for over 20 years, and I don't feel like people are going to receive me going to the courthouse as well as they do being downtown.
You sign a yearly lease on that building?
I do sign a yearly lease on that building.
How much is it?
It's $550 a month, so it's $660. That's $6,600.
And then you got utilities.
Utilities, yep, I do.
I'm sure the owner of the building has insurance on it. Do you have any, like, renter's
I
insurance
do have
on it?
renter's insurance.
Contents?
Mhm. Yep, and that is through my trust point.
So I think all those things that you just mentioned, the courthouse is capable of as far as ADA and what else is compliant.
And I,
All of that.
I agree. It's just harder to get wherever you're gonna put me. It's a little bit harder for those people to come in. You would take an elevator.
Yeah, it would be more of a distance for them
Yeah.
to travel from the parking place.
Yeah.
And we've got,
Yeah.
if they're available, handicap out here and get in the elevator and go wherever we need to go.
Keep the building downtown occupied. I mean, we've all said in meetings that downtown is an eyesore and needs to have people in it, but
I support our downtown, but we're incurring an expense for everyone because of that, you know. And if you ask the average person, though they may not agree with where your office is, we're gonna hear from more people that are unhappy about their taxes.
I mean,
You understand
yeah.
that?
Oh, absolutely. That's why I tried to cut $15,000 off.
Right, I understand, and I appreciate that. And I'm not attacking you
You're
at all.
right.
I'm very hopeful that you seem to be doing very well, and I'm very thankful for that.
Yeah.
And you provide a good service. I'm not,
So question on your spreadsheet here under resources, you got public support.
Yep.
2027 budget request.
Yep.
You got 107,200.
Yep.
Do you get that in donations from the public, or where does that come from?
So that would be like my grant money, if I get a grant, or,
So that's not a given, that's based upon
Correct.
whether you actually get the
Correct.
grant or not.
yes. Yep.
Okay. Benefits, where it says
Oh, yeah, that,
donation benefits?
that's just what the form had on it. I didn't change any of that. It's just, my,
So in 2026 there under your budget, you got $85,000? Is that what you got in grants for 26?
I got in grant, I got 46,000 in grants. And
Okay.
then it'd be like, my grant money, and also like my triplex income and stuff would come through that too, I believe. That's how that works.
And that's gonna be in the 85,000.
Mm-hmm.
So for 2026, the 85, that was from
My,
income from your rentals?
my rental income and my,
And your grants.
grant income. Mm-hmm.
So are you expecting more for 2027 as far as grants in? Because there's significant increase there, what, $22,000?
Yes. Yes.
I thought you told us the other day there wasn't very many grants out there right now to apply for.
So there's not, but depending on USDA, that's how much I was actually given. We write for up to $50,000. It depends on how much the USDA has to give to us. So I project 50, and then I project about 50-ish for my income for my triplexes.
50 grand a year from income for your triplexes?
Yes, triplex income, I have 52,000 is what I'm projected to get because it's 6 apartments, 12 months.
If you were to move here to the courthouse,
Mhm.
would you still have the ability to have the privacy that you would need?
I don't know, where are you gonna put me? So that's the thing.
I don't think we've determined a specific location yet.
I don't know. And I think that was one of the concerns that my board had too as well, like, depending on where you put me, if I stay in my office or if I come here, my board doesn't feel like they should exist anymore.
I didn't take that unless you guys thought that's something different.
I
In our
had a
meeting.
couple of board members say that if,
Were the ones that were at the meeting the other day? 'Cause they didn't share that with Mark and I.
I mean, James was pretty vocal in saying that.
He asked if we were gonna run it or if you guys were gonna run it, and I read it, I'm like, you guys to run it, because we weren't getting the bang for our buck, if I remember our exact word.
It would kind of be a similar situation to planning and zoning, where Heidi's in the courthouse, but she still has a board over her.
Right.
And it'd be the same for you. I mean, if you did happen to be in the courthouse, and you still have a housing board, that would be over you.
I think that would just be discussion between you guys that I would need to take back to my board to see how they felt.
And at that point, I mean, if she has a board, then they need to have oversight over her, and
That's correct.
commission needs to stay back and let them.
Or there is no reason for you to have a board if they're not your boss. That's my opinion.
When's your lease up on that property down there, do you know?
August 1st.
August 1st?
Mm-hmm. And then I did want to say, I think they were open to having that other board member appointed. If you guys were, because I'm still not a full board. And then I did hire a summer intern for the summer, a college student who will be helping my office so I can work on those grants.
So did we ever contact the other candidates?
Yeah.
I did. I reached out to Brian, and Brian said he was still in favor. So.
You're one down.
I'm
is that
just
correct?
short one, yeah.
If you guys are open to that, we could go ahead and fill that last seat.
See no reason why not at this point. I see no reason why not. We put the other one on.
Yeah, I think we need to go ahead and fill that.
And that's an unexpired term, right,
Yes.
that would end, October 26th, 2027. Is Brian
Brian-ish. Or Brian-ish.
Brian Payer.
That was my old one. Brian Payer, yeah. Sorry.
I think we can make the board appointment and then just take the budget under advisement and discuss further about,
Just another quick question here, Lindsay. How much did you say you expected from the income from your triplexes?
50 this year. I am 52,200.
52,200? On the back page here, it says triplex expenses, you have $30,000 allotted for that.
Potential.
Yeah.
If I need
like the
a
Alpha County
roof
Housing.
or anything like
But
that.
if you spend that 30, you're only bringing in $22,000 a year.
Potentially. I mean, I'm not a line item budget, so that's what I have budgeted, but it could, I don't have to go there.
I mean, $22,000 a year probably only pays taxes and insurance on these ones.
But the $30,000 is just a
Just
projection.
a guess,
It's just a projection.
yeah. That was,
That's not to say that you're going to
No.
spend $30,000.
no.
Well, and insurance and everything goes up every year. I
True,
mean,
I know, but I'm just saying
Yeah.
that that's just a projection.
My one triplex, I mean, they both have roofs, so, or metal roofs. I hope they have roofs. They both have roofs.
That's a good idea.
They both have metal roofs. One is only 10 years old, one is only a few years old. So hopefully those I won't need to replace anytime soon. I am leaving here after this to go check on Leroy and Ridley after last night.
Right.
Yeah. But it's just potential. I have if I had HVAC problems or plumbing, or I had my fence in Burlington last storm kind of blew over a little bit. So I'm going to fix that. But it's just a projection, not a guarantee.
There's always those surprises.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and who knows, it may be more than 30,000.
It's really hard to tell. And if one year it's only 10, next year it's 20, next year it's 40, who knows?
I'm familiar with it, I've
Yeah,
had
yeah.
several buildings.
Absolutely, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you
It's
know
hard
it,
telling.
I know it well, so.
My, I was very new to this, and so my, Jared Gilmore and Phillips, they helped me with it, so.
Okay, I got the motion for board member. I would entertain a motion to appoint Brian Payer to the Coffee County Housing Authority Board to fill an unexpired term ending October 26, 2027.
I'll move.
I'll second.
Thompson moved, Curry seconded. Any discussion? Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Passes 5-0.
How's your other board member doing?
Good. Yes, he's great. So, all good. I don't think I have anything else. If you guys have any other
Okay.
questions.
Yeah, so we'll discuss
Yeah.
the budget further and go from there. Thank you very much.
No, of course, thank you.
Let's jump to, we'll put Wade off. 11:15, Amy Robertson, World Champion Grant.
Good morning.
Morning.
I had a very brief presentation prepared, but then Jenny warned me that sometimes the technology doesn't always cooperate, so I printed it instead.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jenny, you probably should have one.
On my computer.
Okay, so thank you for having me this morning. I just really wanted to pop in here and kind of introduce myself, give a little overview of the World Champions program and what I'm actually going to be focusing on for the next 12 months. So the World Champion program is a grant program that is administered by the Department of Commerce Office of Rural Prosperity. They saw a need in rural communities that had really big initiatives and projects that they wanted to pursue, but they didn't have the resource capacity to do it. And so this grant program allows, the community to bring on a part-time person to serve as that rural champion to help move that project forward. It is for a period of 12 months. We were one of only 9 communities in the entire state out of hundreds of applications that were selected for the program, so we're pretty proud and pretty excited to be part of that. In addition to, them, paying for my part-time position, they also provide a lot of support in terms of training and quarterly gatherings to kind of share ideas and things like that. A little bit of background about me. I am a Burlington native and Boomerang, so I left Coffee County in 2006 to take a job in the Kansas City area, came back in 2020, and I think that there's just some really unique perspective that you get when you leave the county, go somewhere else, and then come back, So I had the opportunity to, experience the Shawnee Mission parks, and trails up there in Johnson County, and, there's just so many ideas that I can bring into, I think, this trail plan. From a professional experience perspective, most recently, I was the head of product management for a risk management software company in Overland Park. While that doesn't sound related to trail planning, there are a lot of skills that, that I leveraged in that position that I think apply really nicely here. So my job was to understand market dynamics, understand, customer needs, or in this case, community needs, do feasibility analysis, develop, multi-year phase roadmaps, and do it all while managing to a strict budget. So I think a lot of those skills will translate nicely to us putting together a countywide trail plan. I do have an MBA in information systems and a master's in management, but most recently, after I sort of semi-retired from corporate life, I went back to school for 18 months and got a certificate in sustainable agriculture just for fun, because it was an area that I was passionate about. And I also, since leaving and having time on my hands to pursue more fulfilling projects, I became a member of the Coffee County Tourism Board as well. So really excited about what we can do in Coffee County and how we can kind of grow over time. Fortunately, I am not stepping into the role of trails planning, and starting from scratch. There was a lot of work that's already been done. So there is the capital improvement plan that was put together in 2021. That document then spawned 2 additional, more detailed plans around the Coffee County stormwater study and then the Coffee County countywide trail plan. And those 2 have a lot of dependencies on each other, or rather, the trail plan had a lot of dependencies on the stormwater study. And I'll get to that here in just a minute. So in terms of what I'm focused on, because like I said, this is a 12-month role, unless we decide to extend it beyond that. But as far as the grant program is concerned, it is a 12-month role. So these are the main priorities that I'll be focusing on over the next 12 months. One being really just re-engaging the community since the 2022 plan. So kind of doing a comprehensive review of what that original plan entailed, engaging with all of the municipal leaders like yourselves, all the city councils, and then engaging the community through, I would like to do a countywide survey and then follow that up with some community town hall forum type conversations. Once I get all of that feedback, then I will synthesize all of that, take that and compare it to the original plan, and then revise the plan based on, updated and current community needs. I'm also going to be working on, funding strategies. So how many grants can we go find and get that will pay for as much of this as possible? And then at the end of the 12 months, I want to be able to come to you and present, a revised plan that I think is achievable and sustainable, and kind of wrap up my responsibilities in the Rural Champion program and, kind of what the next steps are for transitioning that to, hopefully construction. I did put in kind of a straw man 12-month timeline because I have a finite amount of time to do this. So I started with the end in mind, wanting this kind of revised plan at the end of the 12 months, and then kind of backed up from there. So you'll see kind of over the next few months, really working on that stakeholder input from all the municipal leaders, really engaging the community, setting up, some sort of website, probably, a page on the economic development site that, where I'll be providing lots of updates. I want to have an FAQ page. Big fan of being transparent so that, the community doesn't feel like they don't know what's going on and they're in the dark. So I will keep that page updated. Then you'll see kind of in the fall, moving into more of that synthesizing the data, revising the trail plan. There is a lot of time spent around, kind of talking with property owners and, who's willing to let us put a trail through their property. And then that, I imagine, will probably spawn some additional revisions, and then that final roadmap at the end. In the yellow text at the bottom, that is the Fiji consultant plan that they proposed as a part of the RAISE grant that we were awarded. And it actually lined up pretty well with, kind of my 12-month plan as well. But there's a big assumption here in that grant agreement has not been fully signed yet. And so their timing depends on when we get that back and they can actually start. But if it happens here sooner rather than later, then they would be helping with all of these tasks that I've outlined here, which would be really great. So just to wrap up, there are two kind of key decisions that I just want to tee up today. I'm not looking for an answer today, but I would love to be able to come back in a month or so and maybe get some direction. And the two really big questions that will fundamentally help dictate what design we're able to do. One of them is, what is the appetite to deliver on the stormwater retention lakes in the near future? So in that stormwater study, there was a proposal to add some retention lakes on the west side of Burlington, the north side of Leroy, and the south side of Waverly. And the trail plan that was created in 2022 assumed that those lakes were going to be there, and so the trail design goes around these lakes. So if, you all say, yeah, there is no desire or plan to go pursue those anytime in the foreseeable future, then we'll go back and kind of redesign the plan to not leverage or not assume that those lakes are
You were talking large lakes, correct?
Yeah, they were pretty significant.
Yeah.
I think 200 to 900 acres,
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
I, for one, am not interested, but that's.
I think we've got bigger fish to fry.
Yeah.
I do too.
Okay, good to know. Then I will assume that
And I'm just one, but. that's-
yeah.
I would think if the communities in this area wanted to pursue that, that would be.
That would be,
That would be a-
that would be a different deal.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so,
Yeah, and I am, I'm meeting with Lebo and Leroy tonight,
Yeah.
and I'm, trying to get on the agendas for all of the city councils.
And I haven't changed my position
So-
from the time it was first. I wasn't for that.
Yeah, I did hear that there was not a huge desire to kind of pursue that at this time. And so that does require us to then go back and rethink the
Right.
trail plan because it really focused heavily on those lakes being there.
I would like to get a copy of the stormwater study. I haven't seen it.
Okay.
I have that in my office, I can email it to you guys.
Yeah, if I can get a copy of that, because I know Burlington, if I remember right, it would help with the flooding on Rock Creek,
Yeah.
which flooding in Burlington is more of a problem with Rock Creek than it is Neosho River. And I don't know about the other two locations, but I think something like that could really benefit the people downstream Burlington. Again, I'd like to see a copy of that stormwater study.
And they did say, I did have a meeting with Saban, and I asked the question, for example, Leroy's was 900 and some acres. And I said, was that designed that large because it was necessary to be that large for stormwater retention? And he said, yes, your other option is to make it smaller and deeper, but it still required that much kind of capacity.
That's one of them. I've got a general idea where the one was proposed at Leroy, but this one out west here, it's so flat out there. You're gonna, if you're gonna have any amount of water between full, overflowing, like the overflow, and normal pool, you're gonna have a huge amount of acreage that's gonna be mud,
Yeah.
basically, because part of the time it's gonna be covered with water.
Yeah.
I just,
And
and myself, at the time, I'm like, I'm not sure the best solution
Yeah.
for that, Rock Creek.
And the
That's
Burlington-
my concern.
And the Burlington one even had, and I'm not going to use the correct terminology, so forgive me, but they had the initial retention lake and then a second kind of runoff if needed
Right,
in the
right.
plan as well.
Well, part of that plan was, I can't remember the dimensions, but they were planning to go way deep to dig it. You can't do that here. There's groundwater out there. It's like an underwater river when you don't have to go very deep to hit groundwater. So that engineering on that was very flawed.
Good to know. Good to know.
And I'd like to look at it, because I just don't know.
Yeah. And then The second question then that I will be posing to you and to the city councils is, what level of investment are you comfortable with? Because, I look at it as a spectrum, right? At the bottom of the spectrum or the left side is we're not investing anything. And I will then make it my mission to find as many grants as possible, maybe look at fundraising opportunities, but you're probably looking at something like Trail in a Box, where the grant provides this trailer full of all the tools that you'll need, and then you get volunteers to come help you build out your trails. Allen County has had some success doing that. The other end of the spectrum, obviously, is, hey, we're all in on this. We think this will be great for the county and attracting residents, so we're willing to look at, bonds or tax or, something. And then there's something in the middle, which is, there are a lot of grants that require match, usually in the 10 to 20% range. Are you open to matches if
Am
you
I
have
missing
grants?
something here? I thought
So-
this was fully funded. Grant
So-
that we were getting to do this, to where we weren't gonna have to make any
So for
monetary.
the raise grant, sorry. The raise grant, if we get the grant agreement signed from Federal Highway Administration, which I've been trying to push them, but you can only push the federal government as fast as they want to go. For that planning and engineering, we were awarded about $2.6 million. There's no match requirement, but that's only to pay an engineer to design the trail.
And the
That's not-
work afterwards would be on us.
Yes, so the intent when they originally applied for the grant, there are build grants that then you can apply for implementation. So I think when they applied for the design grant, that was the intention, and then they would have the design to then go after another grant to build it.
If there's 2.6, 2.9 in design on it, we just had a water system was here on the design on it, was 1 point something. How astronomical is the amount of money that's gonna be spent to just build this trail?
So I can send you the original, when I send you the stormwater study, I can send you the grant application again. They had some very general estimates, but you're talking, if you wanted to do the whole countywide trail system at one time, upwards of probably $30 million.
Yep. The original plan was $30 million. That did not count the construction of the lakes. But like I said, this whole plan assumed that those lakes were going to be built. And so if we're not doing that, then I think this price comes
But I
way
think
down.
our strategy would be better served if we do get some design, that then we could actually kind of parse it up. So say if Gridley says, we really want this lake around, or we really want this trail around our lake, you can piece that out and say, well, we've got design for that. Let's go after that trail.
And the same way with Waverly, I mean, I think it was designed
Yeah.
for a specific area.
Those two are,
Right, but I'm not sure that Waverly was in favor of the design itself as far as
Right.
all the
Okay.
trails.
And that's what,
And I don't mean to speak for the.
and that's what I'm hoping Amy will be able to spend some time helping me with this year is, like she said, identifying different types of strategies. So there's very grassroots where that we could get a trails volunteer team and they could start, it might take 5 years, but they could start building little trails and
And when I said that, it wasn't that they were against the trails, it was just the design that
Right.
that might be in
or
question.
we could look at going after federal funding to
Right.
build
yeah.
trails.
Yeah, I've been compiling a list of grants. I probably have at least 30 right now. And so it'll be really constructing a phased roadmap that takes advantage of all of these different grants that we can, for instance, there's, in the plan, a route from New Strong to Burlington. Well, you can go get the Safe Routes to Schools grant, for that one. So there's ways that we can kind of piece them together to accomplish as much as we can. Some of them do require a match. Most of them I've noticed are in like 10 to 20% range, and so that would be a question that I would be coming back looking like, are we open to contributing between, the county and the city, contributing any money to be able to get these grants?
For myself, I see the most benefit if the city can come to an agreement with a plan that they feel would benefit them, and we can get you can get funding for that, I don't support the new Strong to Burlington Trail myself.
Okay.
I mean, I guess if you could get it paid for, I have concerns about security on the trail and stuff, is my concern.
Yeah, it's gotta cross the river for it.
Yeah. And I'm just one board member, but, you know, if we could, you know, and I'm not saying that we shouldn't have it, it's just that I sure wouldn't be in favor of spending tax dollars to do it myself.
Yeah. I think that one, personally, you know, I think that's a great trail recreationally. I agree that there could be safety concerns if you're using it as a route for kids to go to school. There are other communities, just to kind of as an aside, there are other communities that do, they call it the bike bus, where they actually have, you know, school people or community volunteers that ride their bikes with all the kids gather at the park and then they all ride to school together. Like, there's options, I think, to do something like that where you can address the safety concerns, but it's probably more of a recreational route than anything.
Right. That's the way I view it, you know, and I'm...
Would I still try to get safe routes to school?
Yeah. Yeah,
Why not?
that's fine, you know.
If they'll give us money for it.
I'm a pretty positive person, but it's a
But
big
I
hard
agree
sell
with
for
you.
me.
It also goes past, you know, some, you know, RV campsites, and like I wouldn't feel comfortable with that either, so.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway. So those are kind of the two really big questions, you know, on my mind, because that really drives what we do from a design perspective, and how big we think, you know, how big do we want to envision it. So I'll be posing the same questions to all of the city councils as well.
Usually how big you think comes with a pretty good price tag?
Yeah. Of course.
I mean,
Usually how big you think comes with a pretty big price tag.
It does.
And if we get that RAISE grant, you know, they can help us with, you know, how do we bring the cost down and think a little bit more realistically.
Might be kind of preliminarily, but have you contacted any of the cities about helping fund some of these, since it benefits their communities directly?
Yep, so I have, I'm meeting with Lebo and Leroy tonight at their city council meeting. I haven't heard back from Gridley about this Wednesday, but, and I haven't heard back yet from New Strong or Waverly, but I've got messages out to all of them to get on their agendas to present basically what I'm presenting to you and kind of pose the same questions.
And I'm gonna try to attend as many of those as I can with Amy as well. There's a lot of these questions I've had over the last year and just have not had time to organize the meetings or ask the questions, so having that help is great.
Yeah. And I'm not afraid to get scrappy, so, you know, if it's like you have $0, then we'll do something. What it looks like, you know.
Start out that way.
Yeah, exactly. So, and then just grow from there. So
That's our favorite number, but you know.
Yeah. So grants are my focus. I'm gonna go try to get as much free money as we can get.
So, for some reason, I was under the impression to begin with that like, we wouldn't get anything in the cities if we didn't have this trail, the big trail, between Burlington and New Strong. But that they can be done in separate phases.
Yep.
I mean, if we get the RAISE design done, and I've been told it's just in a holding pattern to get it signed. I even had Roger Marshall's office make an inquiry into it, and it kind of said the same thing. If we can get that, we'll have the design, so we can do with them what we want. If we wanted to, again, go after federal funding, if it's out there, if we're doing a county-wide something, sometimes that looks more desirable from a federal standpoint. But there's also like Sunflower Foundation, there's Patterson Foundation, there's other avenues for funding where you could do how you want it.
There's also potentially opportunity, for example, I had a really brief conversation with the director of Visit Emporia, who was really interested when he heard that we were, you know, looking into this, at connecting bike routes from Emporia over to Coffee County So, maybe they'd be willing to, put a little skin in the game. So I think there's things like that. There's probably additional grant money if we wanted to connect to like the Prairie Spirit Trail or something like that. But my focus initially is going to each community and seeing what can we deliver of value to each individual community, and then looking at then how do you branch out and connect and do all of that down the road.
So I think some of that design of doing some of these trails within the towns would actually help with some stormwater and some different things, some things that were gonna have to be done to make some of these trails were gonna be beneficial in more than just one way, I guess is what, if I remember correctly. It's been a while.
Yeah. There was definitely overlap between the two documents.
It helped accomplish some drainage.
Yeah.
Alleviate some drainage issues, storm drainage.
Yeah, and in addition to just, community health and wellness, it can also potentially be a draw, for visitors.
Yeah.
I would like to look at, if time permits, I would love to go beyond, just the trails themselves and look at opportunities for, more attraction type stuff. So any sculptures or artwork or a pollinator garden or, just things that you can do to add just additional value to those trails that would be funded through grants. Not looking for money on those. That's just kind of my pet project of I'm an overachiever, so.
You keep talking, you don't blow me over, okay?
That's my plan. But that's all I had today. Like I said, I wasn't looking for any decisions, just really wanted to kind of give you an update of what I'm going to be doing for the next year. And I will be back many more times, I'm sure. So.
Very good.
Thank you.
I appreciate your efforts, thank you.
Thanks.
All right. Heidi, do you have your, maybe we can take care of you like really quick? And then we'll move on to Ad.
Oh, yes, thanks.
I brought back the job description, I left the bylaws back on the printer. But I did make those changes that you asked me to make on there. Down here, this one, on the first page at the bottom. I updated that one back with those, and then on page 2.
Sure, I'm sorry.
The first one under the knowledge of. I updated that. And then on page 2, under knowledge of, at the bottom, I updated those sanitation stuff that you got.
All right. So where's my motion at?
It's right under tourism.
Right after 11. Okay, got it. Everybody okay with everything? I'd entertain a motion, based upon the recommendation of the county planning and zoning director and the county attorney as to form, to approve the job description for the planning and zoning director for the planning and zoning department, and authorize the chairman to sign same.
I'd make that motion.
I'll second it.
Okay, McCurry moved, Thompson seconded. Do you have any further discussion on this? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Passes 5-0.
Thank you so much, you guys. I'll bring up that revised page later,
Okay.
so you guys, well, planning board will have to sign it, so I'll make sure you guys get an official copy after they sign it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Heidi. Adam, we're ready for you.
Hey, Mark, do you guys want me to stick around, or do you want me to just do another update?
Um, Yeah, if you want to stick around just a second. And
Okay.
for a few.
Okay, good morning.
Good morning.
Just to give you a quick update of the weekend, of course, we had some weather roll through both Saturday and Sunday, and so we did have one call out there yesterday morning for a tree down up in the Waverly area. I had a Blake guy take care of it yesterday morning, and we are currently kind of in the south part of the county right now, doing some assessments and whatnot on road conditions and damage down in that part from last night.
Was there quite a bit of damage in there?
Just our normal, some of our low water crossings and stuff like that. Ryan did get a call from Aaron Copeland at Leroy this morning early about some flooding down in that area, so I sent some crews down that way to check things out this morning. Other than that, I'm just here. Looks like I've got some stuff for Ryan here on some CP2s on some new hires. Just filling in where the dust has settled over the last few months of people moving around here, there, and yonder. In-house transfers and whatnot, so eventually we have to bring some people in.
All right, so the first one we have here is for Jason Bailey, is that right?
Yes.
I'd entertain a motion to review and approve the CP2 payroll notice for Jason Bailey, light equipment operator, Highway Department, new hire, wage classification 30-02, wage $20.80, effective May 27, 2026.
I'll make that motion.
Seconded. McCurry made the motion, seconded by Adam Droff. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Passes 5-0.
Thank you.
And second one is for Patrick McSwain, is that right?
Yes.
I entertain a motion to review and approve the CP2 payroll notice for Patrick McSwain, heavy equipment operator, Highway Department, new hire, wage classification 35-2, wage $22.02, effective June 1, 2026. So I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Peterson moved, seconded by McCurry. Any discussion?
So can you, is there different qualifications here while we're, similar position as compared to the prior person?
Experience and so mainly it was the equipment experience side of things.
Okay.
As the reason is to bring them into different categories.
Okay.
So a light equipment operator, what would that entail?
Well, it's basically, little to no equipment experience at all.
Versus heavy equipment.
He does have some equipment experience. However, it's not equipment that we're using, or he worked a lot of warehouse type stuff, forklifts.
Yeah, I just want.
Yeah,
I'm sure that's what it was.
Just different
I'm just asking for a
qualifications.
little clarification is all. Thank you, Adam.
Yep.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Passes 5-0.
Thank you. The last thing here is just the excavator bids that we got in. I came here a few weeks ago, I think. I can't remember the exact date, but we got those bids in and reviewed all those and went through everything, and this is what we've come up with for our selection.
our screen here, I got two charts, are they identical?
Yeah, they are. This
Okay.
is the report, and then here's the motion, this is the tab.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
How many bridges a year do you build?
As far as bridges, anything over 20-foot openings classified as a bridge. We've switched probably, I would say, 8 to 12 years ago over to more maintenance.
So you're not building bridges?
Not necessarily building bridges now. We do a lot of the precast box culverts that we order and receive from Portera. We do an absolute ton of crossroad culverts that are failing that we replace.
We have an excavator right now that's totally good that we can use.
We have 3 excavators.
Three.
If I remember right, from a conversation a couple of weeks ago, we was gonna potentially purchase a new one and then place one at landfill.
That's correct.
So it wouldn't be used full-time at landfill, just as needed.
It would be an as-needed thing, which I explained, a few weeks ago, Mike, that anytime we have a bridge maintenance project going on, which the bridge crew does a lot throughout the winter and into the early spring, where we have to haul large rock to a particular bridge to fix the berm erosion underneath the bridge, that's basically through a biannual bridge inspection. We have to shut one of our other excavators down on a project to take it to the landfill to load this rock, because we have to have an excavator at the job site as well at the bridge to place this rock. And it cuts down on I think it cuts down on our efficiency of getting stuff done. And then I went back and looked at the trade-in value that we got for our excavator that we traded in back in 2024, and it was I believe $40,000 trade-in on it. And this particular excavator that we're talking about going to landfill is an even older, higher-hour machine that I don't think we would hardly get anything for it, but that's my opinion. I did not include that as a trade-in option, only because this is kind of what Ryan and I discussed for a plan with that older excavator. On top of the responsibility of us for responsibility of landfill for cover dirt, hauling and covering the trash with dirt daily. It seemed like a.
What are they using now to cover it up with?
Usually we have to take a hoe out there to haul dirt to an excavator.
So they don't have one out there now, though?
No.
So what are they using to cover it up now with the dirt?
Stockpile dirt that we've hauled for them to the cell.
They using a dozer to push it around?
They use their compactor and their track loader to move it around in the cell to cover with and compact it.
It sure sounds like you had some need, but I'm just concerned about spending this money here in the budget.
Okay.
Or any time for that matter, I'm concerned about spending money. How many hours are we moving more than one machine, or is the machine that this one's replacing, is it the one that's going to landfill?
The one that's going to the landfill is our oldest, highest hour machine at the current state right now.
I see.
It's
what position is it at now?
It is currently on the bridge crews.
Okay. And how many hours does it have on it?
Gosh, wait, I knew you were going to ask me that. And I was so swamped this morning, I didn't get any of that. I want to say 10 to 11,000 hours. That's just a off ballpark guess. Yes.
And you've got three excavators, is that correct?
3 excavators with one with the bridge crew and 2 with our assistance fleet crew. That is the crew that goes around and does crossroad culverts, anything from minor road repair to full road rebuilds, and So that crew has two separate operators that usually are split up amongst themselves with one other guy off of that crew going each way to fulfill the needs that they have.
Have you ever looked into a lease program to see what we could lease one for a year?
I have not. Years ago, we did do they don't offer it anymore, but the buyback plan is the only other thing we've done in the years past, but they've since done away with that. As far as leasing, I have not got too much into that just because are you getting any return on your money, I guess, is my biggest concern.
Well, if you can rent one for $50,000 a year versus $304,000, there's $250,000 savings. Plus, they come do all the maintenance on it.
Okay, I can definitely check into that.
I'd like to see you check on that. It's not that I don't think you probably need one, it's just the cost. The cost right now.
Okay.
I think we have the equipment, we just need to do a little better job of logistics on the equipment that we have, where we need it.
As far as
Moving them from place to place instead of one set in one place and another in another place.
okay. I mean, we coordinate, Clint and I coordinate our crew's work to where we don't have any one excavator unless it's a large project in the same part of the county. And we generally work that area on landowner requests, and that's the tough balance, is the landowner requests on top of our general maintenance and everything that we're responsible of being the county. It's a tough balance, because our work request list is about 4 pages now. And it's
You're out on.
more than that.
All right.
Last summer really put us behind again with the wet rain. We got all through July and August.
How many backhoes do you have?
None. We did away with the backhoes years ago.
I think these are way more versatile, right?
Yeah, just accessibility and things like that. And with going with a medium-sized excavator, it's quite a bit larger than just your backhoe. In fact, we kind of switched over from the backhoes years ago on the bridge crew. We did away with it and went with a mini excavator. Back when we were doing box culverts and all that type of stuff, it worked better as far as digging footings and getting into tight places down in the mud and the muck. And
How many, I mean, I know you have hours listed here and everything, but how many years do you think a piece of equipment like that would?
well, so just to revert back to Ryan and I's plan on the equipment replacement study that we've done and worked on getting that out on spreadsheets. Excavator, somewhere around 8 years, really that magic number on that type of stuff, probably about 10,000 hours. Just kind of depends on
Maintenance, how you treat it, where it's tore up, who's running it.
Yep.
And I know
We have some very, very responsible, almost take it as their own operators that
Take care of the
take really good care of everything across the board.
I don't know who runs them, but the hoe work that I see is very good.
Oh, it is.
The jobs. You got some
They take a lot of pride in that.
know how to lay this shot rock and stuff.
I think you just had one retire here not too long ago.
A lot of years
A lot
going
of
back
years,
there.
yeah.
Yeah.
A conversation that I had with Ryan, about what hours do we choose to get rid of stuff, and you guys were talking, well, maybe it is more cost effective to get rid of them earlier, and I said, well, how does that compare to our surrounding counties? And he was going to try to get me some information about that, but his thought was that our surrounding counties have realized the value in trading sooner where the machine you have has really significant trade-in, you know, and like here, if you had something to go to the landfill or something that's gonna be minimal use, then that obviously makes the most sense to keep it. If it's, you know, a $25,000, $30,000 machine.
That's where I'm at in that area, $20,000 to $30,000.
My concern is just
No, and I
I'm
completely
curious,
understand
along with, I mean, I like Mike's idea about checking in on a lease thing, but used equipment, I mean, is there such a thing as
you think that's cost effective, or is
Is that
it the
cost-
best way to go?
that. Used, you never know what you get. And I know you never know what you get with new stuff anymore with the way
I know.
all the
I was just-
electronics
And the only reason I ask, I didn't know if you ever checked into something like that, Adam.
Yeah,
Or,
we purchased a couple mowing tractors, last year.
and I do understand that when you buy something used, you could be buying somebody else's problems, but
Yeah.
I didn't know if through your suppliers, if ever they came up with,
Well, I think the biggest thing is, Steve, is in the used market, it's way up there too, you know, with anything. And then with the discounts and whatnot that we receive on new equipment through our vendors, whether it be through Sourcewell or, you know, MPP or whoever it might be, as far as government discounts, kind of offsets the used side of things. And like I said, I can go do some more homework and come back and.
Is that what you guys would like to do?
yeah, I think so.
Put some more figures together, comparisons.
Yeah, I got a hard time spending that much money budget time right now, it's just come up with a couple different options.
Come back and,
At least pursue the, you know, explore those.
get through so I just wanted to mention, I did check, some papers this morning. This particular bid is good through August 18th of this year. I think that gets us past the budgeting and all that type of stuff, so
Well,
I'll leave this as an option, but I'll go ahead and do my homework on,
and this is for money that was budgeted last year.
this is special bridge money.
Yeah.
This is special bridge money.
But we're budgeting right now for 2027.
Yes.
Is what I'm saying.
Right,
So
that's true.
This is budgeted through special bridge money on our end.
I understand, but wouldn't that special bridge money be used like the replacement of the Leroy River Bridge deck or a major project like that,
Okay.
correct?
Yeah. Yes.
I think that's in the works too, ain't it, that bridge south of Leroy?
That's.
It's long range planning at someday.
That's more of,
Engineered right now.
that's more of Ryan or Kenny,
Yeah,
they kind of handle that.
that's gonna be expensive.
I do the day-to-day thing.
I got you, I understand.
We all have enough on our plate, it's just a matter of making sure everything's done.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, anything else, Brad?
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Adam.
All right, thank you guys. Have a great day.
Thank you too.
Jenny, you wanna finish?
Want to hear from me again?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just had a couple things. Another hour, so.
No problem.
No, there was just a couple other things I was gonna update you guys on. One, we did hear back from the Department of Commerce that we were awarded a signs grant for $12,000. That'll be split between 3 downtown Burlington businesses. The application had to be signage for a downtown business that was in the application could only be for one downtown area. So they're gonna kind of split that funding. The businesses I worked with on the application were Hornet Games, 1856 Parlor, and Sweetgrass Home and Design. Economic development is part of that grant, so they'll get that. We anticipate the signage might cost a little bit, so the the businesses did ensure that they would be able to cover the remaining costs for their signage. Plus, economic development is going to provide $500 for each sign towards the grant. This was part of the agreement. If we were awarded the grant, we would do like a small amount of a match for $500.
And that is a $12,000 grant.
Yes, yeah, the total grant from Commerce is $12,000. They're gonna have a kickoff Zoom meeting with the businesses on Thursday, so they can start working on like design and, I believe there is gonna be one of our local, signage and, graphic design companies that'll be on the list of possible choices for them to choose from. So, that's exciting. So hopefully we'll see some new signage in downtown Burlington in the next 6 to 12 months.
While we're talking about signs,
Mm-hmm.
what do you know about the one on the highway south end of the county?
The billboard,
Yeah.
we are working on getting that changed. We did put it out for a couple different bids with who we'd used previously, and then we had Young Graphics put in a bid as well. They actually came in under, and since they're local, we're having Young Graphics redo the sign out there. We've changed up the design just a little bit. For this one, we're going to do something with Visit Coffee County just to try to change it up a little bit and kind of focus on tourism on that. But it should be, we've got them working on it like within the next month. You should see it changed.
Are they gonna look at the structure of that sign?
Yeah, so because the storm damage, he's going to replace the panels and all structural.
Right,
So
but the framework of it is.
yeah, everything
sufficient.
that needs to be fixed.
Yeah, I had a,
Rhonda's kind of been working with him on it, but
okay, I had a question about that just
Yeah.
over the weekend here, actually.
That was like
The
what-
landowner actually asked me.
yeah,
if we
that was
were
a
doing
month or
something
so
there.
that storm came through and ripped it up pretty bad. So
Yeah, it
we're
didn't
gonna
look
make
good
sure it's
before.
all taken care of, structurally sound, and that'll come out of economic development budget.
Very
We've-
good.
We've
very
got
good.
money in there to pay for that.
Goes in any insurance to cover it from storm damage or anything?
As far as I know, the county, we just pay to maintain them, and when they need fixed, we kind of keep some of that back in my budget, so that we can fix them when we need to. I don't think,
I don't know if you can get insurance on a billboard or not.
I could check, but I would imagine the expense might be more than just replacing them. They're talking usually a couple $1,000s. This one is gonna be closer to $3,000 because we did have to.
Okay, good.
Speaking of signs, the one at the airport, I'm sorry, Gina, with the one in the airport starting to get some, brush growing up in front of it.
Yeah, Rhonda and I had talked about that. I think previously there have been times when our office will just go out and like, trim if needed. I need to put that on my,
So you got
To-do
your own
list.
chainsaws and everything, is that what you're, no, I'm kidding.
we can figure it out. I think that's what's just happened before. If we need to call on somebody to,
Yeah.
yeah, we can, figure that out. I don't think we generally like
No,
pay
I'm
for somebody
kidding.
to maintain. But I do know that one, and then also the one on the interstate from Levo. If you're far enough back, there's that one tree, I call it like a bush tree
Yeah.
that's growing up. As you get closer, you can still see it, so, I don't know, that might be something we want to look at too, but, yeah. Sign maintenance is new to me, but we'll get it taken care of, and we'll make sure they look very nice. The other thing I had, just to let you guys know, coming up on the 10th, you know, I've been working with the group of child care providers in Coffee County. Got kind of a group that we've been meeting about every month. A couple months ago, someone from Child Care Aware in one community came and did a presentation for the group about tax benefits that employers can receive if they do fund child care for their employees as a benefit or partially fund it. So they agreed to come back, and they're doing a lunch and learn. I just had one copy of it if anybody's interested on the 10th. So we're inviting employers to come listen and just learn about the benefits. That's through the state, so I figured it couldn't hurt to try to share that information locally. We all know that child care is very important, but it's also very expensive. So any kind of state-funded programs that could help with that, I think, are good.
It's huge.
Yeah.
Helps us have more people be able to have jobs.
Yeah, we want to take care of our employers and take care of our workforce as well. So that's upcoming. If anybody would like to join us, just text me or email me. I'm just trying to get a head count for lunch. One community is actually paying for lunch, so we'll do that.
What date is that?
June 10th. It's at noon.
June 10th, in Kelly Hall.
Yep. Couple other things. There's, I think Steve and Todd are joining us on Thursday for a Wolf Creek tour. I hadn't been out there, and I talked with their communications person a while back, and we organized a tour. So we're going. I think Rhonda and Cherie are coming with us, and then I've got a couple commissioners and the economic development director from Allen County asked if they could join us as well. They've never been out there, and I think Camille had shared with them, she went to a conference or something, talked, about energy, so they were interested to come do the tour, and I said the more the merrier, because they could host up to about 20 people, so we're going to do that on Thursday. We've got a tourism and visitors board meeting on Wednesday at 5, so we're going to meet and discuss kind of recommendations for that transient guest tax fund for next year, so I'll present that to you guys at an upcoming meeting after we meet. And the only other question, and we don't have to really discuss this today, but something I brought up to Mark the other day, and I think maybe I discussed with others of you before, as I'm working through my economic development budget for next year, something I could use some guidance on is whether I need to put into my budget, as we're talking about infrastructure, like industrial out at the airport, and if we're trying to grow that, there's probably utility studies we're going to need, there's other infrastructure planning. Do you guys want me to include that into my budget for next year, if there's, $30,000 to $50,000 that we think we're going to need, or do you want me just to approach you guys when that comes and look at pulling that out of, like, capital or community?
Community improvement.
Yeah. Because that could kind of affect what my budget looks like when I turn that into you guys.
I guess, from my point, it would be to come to us, instead of adding anything to the budget, just come in and request.
Okay, as needed?
As needed.
Okay,
Yeah.
I can do that. I just wanted to make sure, since that it's kind of a new thing we're working on. So I'll kind of lower that so that it won't inflate my budget so much, but then if we need it, we'll work through it. That was all I had. Pretty
Okay.
painless.
Did you say
three businesses you're open?
Yes, so for the science grant, there's 3 downtown Burlington businesses. Alright. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for hanging around.
Thank you,
Yeah, no problem.
appreciate it.
Okay, Wade, you ready to tackle the law enforcement center change orders and pay application? Yep.
You'll be close. Pay for bills. We can take a 30-minute break.
Well, it'll be 3 or 5 or whatever.
We're,
Is that right?
before we get started, yeah, we'll take a 3-minute break. We'll resume at 12:17, how's that?
Yeah.
The concrete slab. And I remember, I was there, I couldn't breathe, and obviously the wind knocked out.
All right, we're back in session.
It's good to be
Yeah. All right, it's 12:17 and we're back in session. We're almost back to full strength. But here it comes.
This is address to the owner.
Okay.
Joke. You gotta file that back here and read it later.
So here we are, once again, payout number 29. Hard to believe we've gone through 29 of these, but this is where we are. I don't think there's very many left. The finish line is in sight. This covers the period ending April 30th, 2026. The current payment requested, total of $313,784. And as you see, there's not a large portion left to get this finished. Moving through, and if you want a paper copy to look at, I have a paper copy. Try not to push trees through like I normally do, but
Anybody else want to have a look at this?
this is specific at this point to phase 2. Here's sort of our running tally and what will be presented today, who the contractor is and what their requested amount is. This one has been in the past phase 2 payouts. McElroy's and Shelley Electric are your lion's share. And again, if you haven't been over to just see where things are with phase 2, it's pretty impressive what progress has been made. The walls are up, carpet's up. Kind of at this point, the finishing touches. So, payout number 4 for IBC Carpentry. Their current payment due is $8,908.90. As you see, part of that goes to their bond and general conditions, and then doors, fixture, and hardware materials. They're the ones who are framing up the doors in the new facility. Now, one of the things that will be coming soon, and will probably tie to IBC Carpentry, there's a request for, I'm not sure if it should be a change order, and it would come out of project contingency. There are 3 doors within the new renovation that were going to be reused to try to save some cost. But after you put up the new doors, then you looked at the old doors and saw the gouges, and I mean, they've been beat up pretty hard over the last however many years because they're original doors. So I was requested to come take a look, took a look, and requested that they get an estimate on what the 3 doors would cost to replace outright. My opinion would be, and I don't know if it falls in line with yours, and no decision has been made, but if you leave the doors there, you're going to have, it's going to look remarkably different when you go in and everything else looks new, and then those look like probably my garage door.
Are they wood doors that can be refurbished?
They are, but the type of doors, if you want, we can go over there and look at them, because I can't.
Oh, I'm not a carpenter, but I mean, they could be refurbished, it could be a saving, but if they're gonna look out of place, I understand that too.
We
Are
looked
they
at them.
are they solid wood or are they
Yeah, hollow core.
hollow core?
I can't remember, they're put to the side. Originally, they were gonna sand them down. River City pointed them out to me and said they've got some significant gouges and,
By the time you spend money to refurbish them and the labor to do it,
Yeah.
maybe just as
so that's what my initial thought was, but I mean, I'd encourage you to come take a look, and if you have any other thoughts, or if you want them refinished, sanded down and refinished, I mean, that can be done too.
Did you talk to Ron about it since he's doing the piece?
I did not. we'll get to that part here momentarily, which is outside this. Pay app number 12 for Seward Glass, $4,590.90. This is for phase 2 glazing. I'm trying to remember exactly where that is. I'll get back to you on that. Higgins Group, their wall ceilings, their request $70,689.62. Pay out $17 for them. General conditions, $13,147.80, metals and framing, $28,72.25, building insulation, $3,678.97, gypsum board, $50,475. If you go in, you'll see where the sheet rock has been put up and installed in phase 2, all over the place. In fact, those walls have been painted, and then additionally the $8,370, the acoustical ceiling. When everything is said and done, if you go into what's now going to be the small courtroom, you can already tell the acoustics in that room are better, in my opinion, than in the large courtroom. And that's just because it's acoustically sound, and the sound will travel better. Always Faithful painting, $6,475. The painting, I think, speaks for itself. And that's phase 2 painting. Holly Jail, $43,275.06. Pay app number 25. Phase 2 project management, and then on-site technical assistance and training for phase 2 related to the secure corridor, and then how that all ties in together. Software programming, you'll see a number of the doors, although they're not fully complete yet, have been installed for that secure corridor in phase 2. There's a lot of doors that have to be monitored for phase 2 to make sure that everything is safe and operating the way it should be, especially with this vicinity to each of the courtrooms. And that, if you go over and take the tour, you'll see what that means. This is Accurate Controls, which is their pay app 17, but it's embedded in part of Holly Jail's pay app, so just so you can see, Accurate Controls is the computer program that controls kind of from Jail Central through all the doors in the facility and all the cameras and so on and so forth. So they've been around quite a bit. You'll see also included within Accurate their software programming, but these are the pictures of the cameras that are distributed throughout phase 2. And they're the cameras that will be monitored so that obviously a secure environment, not only from a lock door standpoint, but from a security surveillance standpoint as well, so if something happens or occurs, then, the cameras are always.
And are they monitored all the time?
Yes. So they record, the best way I can probably describe it, I just had a trial last week, and for example, if someone's pulled over by the highway patrol, for example, they have their dash camera set up, so they're recording at all times, but they only buffer back 2 minutes. So anything prior to that 2 minutes is not going to be available because it's unreasonable to expect for that much data to be stored at one time.
Huge.
Right, and that's how our building, our law enforcement works as well. Body cam goes back 30 seconds, so their triggering event for law enforcement purposes is their either self-initiated or their emergency equipment activates. Then that's when it starts recording, although it's buffering at all times. These will be recording, and I'd have to go back and ask Brad how far back in time they maintain that recording, because at a certain point in time, it'll have to record over itself, or you're going to be paying for a tremendous amount of storage space.
Think of all those different cameras.
Yeah. So,
Just curious.
so these cameras are down the hallways, but they're also in the courtrooms as well. So if something happens in the courtroom, they're not recording audio, but from a video standpoint, if something happens in the courtroom, then it's there and available. And that's what these pictures are, just that type of equipment. AAP, 4 within phase 2 for McElroy's, $48,105.90. And that covers insulation, controls, sheet metal, piping labor, and it's still the same as what you've seen before, just they've been at it and have stayed at it. And then Shelley Electric, their pay app, $53,015.40. And that's tied to phase 2, and then this is the breakdown. For what they're doing, for what they've done. I know they've been over there quite a bit installing electrical junctions. They've been installing panic alarms, you name it, tied to that side, lights, alarms, whatever it is. Some things kind of adapt and modify. So that covers this pay app. If you have any questions, there's also an invoice from Alpha Roofing that's taken out of the roof contingency allowance for some work that had to be done. And at some point in time, I think you're gonna hear outside of this project the need and necessity to take a look at the roof on that entire side of the building.
You say the roof?
The roof, yep. It's been explained to me it has some vulnerabilities that you can patch, but that's all it's going to be, a patch, and it may not last very long at all, and I've verified that through River City. So
How are we doing on the funding that contingency?
it's appropriate that you ask that, because we're going to go into change order 51 that lists those amounts. If you remember from removing the scope of work for the fuse as well as the repurposing the bench and other items that were originally in the smaller courtroom, and then sort of improvising and using those, that actually has increased the contingency. Now, we're not seeing the bills yet that tie to the fuse and the bench work, but I still believe it will be significantly less than what it would have been if you went with those other companies. So, and I can touch on that just a little bit more here after I go over change order 51. So change order 51 that's up on the screen right now is tied to potential change order 95 in the amount of $3,188.64. This change order ties to requests in carpet that was made for the public corridor, which is identified as room 112 and the court vestibule 119. That was originally included in change 2, but the judges went through and requested some different carpet, and this is the difference in what was originally proposed and that change. So it's $3,188.64 that is being requested to be deducted from the project contingency. So as you see, we increased this. This was the construction contingency balance, and then minus the $3,188. So prior to the previous change orders, these were in the neighborhood of 50-some thousand, if you remember, 53,000 if I remember right. So it's actually higher, but remember the fuse, the $1,600 for $100 per fuse times 1,600 is going to have to be subtracted. The gas and going down to Arkansas to pick those up, and then there's going to be a fee to sand those down, refinish those.
Sure.
But I still don't think it's going to get anywhere near what it would have been for.
I just lost track of where we were on that.
No, I'm trying to stay on top of that and pay close attention to it, so you're aware. So, any questions about change order 51? So you have two proposed motions before you, one in reference to pay application 29, and then one for change order 51.
Okay, I will make a motion to approve the application and certificate for payment, application number 29, for period ending April 30, 2026, submitted by River City Construction, LLC, in the amount of $313,784 for work completed, reference to the Coffee County Law Enforcement Center project, associated with Phase 2, funds to come from Jail Construction Project Fund, which is Fund 111. I made the motion.
Second.
McCurry seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? Passes 5-0. Now I'd entertain a motion for the board to approve and for the chairman to sign the following change orders regarding construction related to the Coffee County Law Enforcement Center Phase 2 as approved by River City Construction. And that would be change order number 51, with costs associated with potential change order which is PCO 95, associated with installation of carpet CP2-01 in public corridor 112 and court vestibule 119, and that's deduct $3,188.64, with $3,188.64 to be deducted from the project construction contingency. And that's with no change in the project guaranteed maximum price of $27,687,737.
I'll make that motion.
Caden Curry moved, Parker seconded. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Passes 5-0. Is that all on that agenda item, Wade?
That is, other than just to provide an update on where things are with the project. Tomorrow, there's an initial walkthrough to go over a punch list. It's not done. There are a number of things that still need to be completed, but it would be a good opportunity to, if you see something, say something kind of thing. So I had initially been sent an email that was happening, and I forwarded that on to the chairman and Commissioner Abendroth, because I know they're local, and if either can participate, that would be great. If not, I can request somebody else just to do that punch list walkthrough.
About what time is that?
10 o'clock.
Yeah.
I'll come.
You're
gonna
gonna
be able to do that?
Okay.
I will let you do that.
The bench in the small courtroom is sort of a work in progress, trying to fit what needs to be placed into that space. Still have the flexibility to have a 6-person jury trial if needed, and then repurpose some of the prior built bench and other items by Ron Strader, sort of what's going on in the background, and then trying to be fiscally responsible and not break the budget. So all those things are going on. I've met, I don't know how many times, but at least we'll say multiple in the last several weeks with Ron Strader, the court, combination of Ron Strader, the court, River City, myself and Ron Strader, you name it, it's probably happened. But trying to make sure that setup ends up the way it needs to, so that once things are done, we don't want to go backwards. So that's the main update I have for right now. I think we're still on track to be completed mid-June. The only thing that may be lagging somewhat behind is the pews, because the pews have to be individually taken out, sanded, stained, and then cut down to the right size. Have to make sure they meet ADA requirements and so on and so forth. And Ron has focused on the bench, the courtroom bench, first and foremost, because the bench can be completed in that area completed. We can hold court, and then we can bring in folding chairs if needed to operate in the courtroom. So that's why the pews are sort of taking their second to getting this other stuff done. In case we get to mid-June and you're like, well, what about the pews? That's sort of the what's going on with the pews.
Work in progress, things like that.
A work in progress. So outside of that, that was going to be a roundtable discussion, but now I've covered it.
Okay. We need to
to have an executive session to discuss our technology applicant. I think we can do it in 10 minutes, or you want 15?
10 minutes.
Let's do 10.
You guys good with you?
Okay, I'd entertain a motion to enter into executive session for 10 minutes to include each of the commissioners, county councilor Wade Bowie II, regarding personnel matters of non-elected personnel of an employee.
Or you want to put, personnel regarding job?
Yeah, regarding job map.
Job description.
Discussion regarding candidate for IT director.
Yeah. What Wade said.
Something like that.
That would be under the Kansas Open Meetings Act, KSA 75-4319B1. And that would be to resume here at 12:56.
I'll move.
Second.
Curry moved, Thompson seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
They opposed? Passes 5-0. Yes, we're in. It's 12:56. We're back in regular session. And no action taken as a result of that executive session at this time.
You too, thank you for coming in.
Roundtable, Mike, I'll start with you because I know you need to get going.
Nope, you guys covered everything I had
Okay.
today, so.
And Wade, you don't have anything else?
Not for today.
Todd, do you have anything?
Yeah, I had a phone call last night about the hospital going on there. I think I'm gonna go to the hospital board meeting tonight.
They are meeting tonight.
They are meeting tonight.
It's come along the lines of argument. The call was, he came and talked with us, and I still recommend you guys call out and speak with him.
I've talked to both sides. So,
Both sides
as him and then the other, some of the other hospital board members.
As far as the Key West issue goes, I mean, something we need to further discuss or do something next week, talk to Ryan when he's available. The Key West Cemetery.
Oh, he said that I talked to him, he was kind of like, we kind of helped him out there a little bit, just with our equipment. He said, doesn't take very long, give him a little bit of gravel,
Yeah, that's-
get the water running that way.
It's a small cemetery.
Yeah,
It did sound like it was
because I asked her how much gravel we were talking, 10, 12 loads, so I was concerned with cost there, and then I talked to Ryan, he said, maybe 1, 2.
10, 12 loads would cover them.
Yeah, the whole thing, but I didn't know what they were talking about.
Green and get rid
I
of
guess
it.
if Ryan has any further issues or wants further direction, I guess he can just bring it up.
So Holly's gonna want me to call her back after I'm done with this, so we just thinking that we're gonna help them out, or we wanna talk with Ryan, or what?
Well, I'm sure okay with doing it. I mean, I think there's limitations as to, it's been brought before us before, like, and I wish we could do these things, but like laying stones and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I wish we could do it, but
I don't
think we can take on that task. But in my mind, any of these cemeteries where you've got a road that's only being used by cars, all you need is a little sprinkle of rock.
Yeah.
They don't need a huge base
We're
or
not into
anything.
this steady.
And the call I had was on the mowing itself, that during
No,
Memorial
no.
Day, there was a little displeasure there, and that's, when it was brought up, it was
So, is that in a township that has an active, I mean, would they have a township levy?
Key West, I don't know
Yeah.
who's even on.
That's why I didn't know how they're doing. Was that Key West? Is that the one?
No, it's
Key West, Lebo.
It's on Old Highway 50.
Between Lebo and Vita, or 75.
Yeah, okay, I'm thinking. I was gonna say, if it's a taxing, excuse me, like a taxing district like Key West Township, or whatever, do they levy funds for that, or is this beyond the funds that they have levied, or do we have to make a motion if then, if we're going to?
Well, they do, well, I'm
We've
not
had,
really talking, sorry.
we've had other
No,
cemeteries
that's right.
request, I know that. And I'm not opposed to helping, I just didn't know what we need to do as far as.
Like costs incurred with everything.
Yeah, I mean, are they not levying enough for that, or is that something they need to be doing, or are they aware it needs it? Have we got to reach out to them?
So have we done, Angie, can you tell me, have we done these things in the past?
So they do have a budget, we prepare it here in my office. If there's something that's over and above what they've actually budgeted for, then they need to come in and talk to you guys and make the request. And then you can decide if you want to spend that money or not. But you just realize you've got a lot of other cemeteries in the county that may want the same thing. So there's been
Yeah.
that, you know. I think there has been a little help. Wasn't, Steve, didn't they do something a while back with the culvert or something, or?
We did some.
At Rock Creek.
Some
Oh,
cemetery.
Rock Creek.
There was something that was done there.
Yes.
I have to.
Maybe it was a culvert.
I'm looking the minutes, but there's something.
I know there was a request here 2 or 3 years ago on helping with stones, and that was,
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
really better.
yes, and that was,
That's a whole different.
that was a whole different category. I don't even know who's on Key West,
Rock Creek.
But if we're talking about the township, all it is,
What's the cemetery over there at Waverly Rock Creek?
it'd be Waverly Cemetery, and then north would be Rock Creek Cemetery.
Yeah.
was Steve Lyle on that?
Steve Lytle, yeah.
I think she was wanting to get the ball rolling, and
Yeah.
when they needed it, with the rains and stuff, she wasn't able to get onto the agenda. I can just tell her to come make a formal request Monday, and we can go from there. And she's gonna tell her that she needs to check on her budgets and things.
Yeah, well, she went check with Ryan too, and just.
Well,
find
they've
out
been
about-
communicating, because Ryan called me after they talked. He said, we've done this one before.
Okay,
it's
Bob
no big
Strotter's
deal."
on Key West.
Bob Strotter and Kim Strotter.
Bob and Kim Strotter's on Key West.
Key West, yeah.
Okay, I mean, I'm not opposed to it, we just need to.
We don't want anybody going to Memorial Day or something, have to trunch through water or something, or get stuck or something like that.
Yeah, needs attended to.
Okay. Anything else to, wait, you,
No, I don't think so.
I don't have anything.
I'm just gonna say, I guess the hospital board is meeting tonight at 6. I'm planning to go to Leroy City Council tonight, so I guess Todd, you're planning on going to the hospital?
I'm not was.
Steve?
You're going?
And, we did resubmit did they resubmit the budget yet, or?
She hasn't sent it to me, but she should have.
Because we sent the budget back to them, and it was my understanding she's gonna resubmit it this
Let me
morning.
see if she. She hasn't resent it yet, so.
So as soon as they
reach out to her.
resubmit it, then we'll make sure we get something done within 10 days. Angie, do you have anything?
I do not.
I don't believe I have anything. Okay. Well, we will adjourn at 1:04.
and you're off to another one.
Send her with such happiness.